Hello, everybody, and welcome to a strange top secret stream that I'm doing. Uh, I really meant to do this as a Rumble Premium, and that's probably what I should have done. Uh, I probably messed up here. In any case, I am going to do a special stream now on Rumble. I've done a few of these on Rumble already where I talk about the top albums of all time. And I start off here for the first few minutes just letting people know that I'm going to do it, but then in 4 minutes from now, yeah, I saw something about Conor McGregor. I didn't watch the fight. It was already too much. I was watching all those World Cup games, and I just didn't. It was enough for me. But yeah, I saw people were talking about it. Basically, I am just starting this thing, and I'm going to move towards. Maybe I'll do a little bit. Uh, just hanging out. But the truth is that I wanted to talk about the top albums of all time. So, those who don't know, I do these kind of exclusive streams on Rumble where I talk about this, best albums of all time thing. And I usually do it during random hours. I guess I could do something maybe that I talk a little bit here. Maybe the first between 125 to 100 we can do together. And when I reach 100, I'm going to go to do like an exclusive on Rumble. I actually wasn't even supposed to do this on YouTube. I clicked the YouTube button by mistake. And now I don't want to cheat people who actually clicked in to see what was going on YouTube. So I'm in a strange situation now. So let's start with me just sharing. Uh, what I do here is that Rolling Stone, a magazine who I have very little faith in, they did some article in recent years. Every few years they also refresh it, and they give you the top 500 albums of each time. Now, very secretly on Rumble, in kind of a private stream, I've been going over. I went over, I guess, between 500 to 125 all the albums that Rolling Stone thought were so great, and I had a lot of interesting thoughts about it. Now, what I'm going to try to do here is I'll give you my thoughts about 100 till at some point, and then at some point I'm going to move to Rumble and we're going to finish the stream there, kind of a private stream. Now I feel bad. I don't want to disappoint people. We'll see what happens. Let me start, and we'll see what happens. So, last time we left off, I guess we were in 125 Paul's Boutique, Beastie Boys, which I said I thought was a good album. I think that's where we left off. Out of the albums that I think that the Beastie Boys did, which were good. By the way, can people hear me? I hope somebody can hear me. Send a message somewhere saying if you can hear this or not, just so I know. It is late at night. So basically, there's 3 albums that I think are good for the Beastie Boys. I think one is, License to Ill, one is, Paul's Boutique, and one is Check Your Head. In many ways, people might say that Paul's Boutique was maybe ahead of its time, did a lot of cool things with samples, and, is probably a quality album, maybe the highest quality out of the 3. But if you ask me, I like License to Ill better than Paul's Boutique and better than Check Your Head. Although I like all 3 albums, I will say that, from the Beastie Boys catalog, uh, Paul's Boutique, License to Ill, and Check Your Head, that's the main thing you should be listening to. They had other stuff afterwards, but those are their big albums for me. But yeah, I can understand why this would be in the top 500. I don't know if I'd put it here exactly, but I do like the album. And like I said, it sort of uh, it sort of did something interesting with samples that hadn't quite been done before. I vaguely remember maybe Rick Rubin was the producer, and they did, tried all these different ideas. I thought it was cool. I thought it was had something to do with Rick Rubin, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. 124, U2 Achtung Baby. Now, uh, I have uh, I have on many occasions told some U2 jokes, and I'm always going to be there. Very quick to say that from the day they released the song "Beautiful Day," that's from the day. That's like the day that from that moment, there nothing that they released is really you know worth much in my opinion. And honestly, I think that their best era of U2, it's easy to dismiss them because, so many years they've just been doing the same kind of cheesy song over and over again. But I would still argue that somewhere in the 80s and early 90s, you had the albums Joshua Tree, you had Rattle and Hum, and you had Achtung Baby. And I think that those three albums are solid. Like, yeah, I know that maybe aside from that, a lot of their stuff could annoy people, but credit where credit is due. I think that those three albums are decent, and Achtung Baby stands out. Possibly, possibly their best album. So, do I think that that's worthy? Like maybe Achtung Baby in the top 500? Maybe I'd allow it. I think that it's not a bad album. I think it's good. I wouldn't put like the one with Beautiful Day on here or anything that came after that, or you know, it's not that I put all their albums in the top 500, but I think that this one is actually a decent one. Hey, Tim Hayes, how's it going? So then the next one we have is Led Zeppelin 2. No argument here. This belongs on a list like this. This is a good album. Led Zeppelin with some basically, classics here. Whole Lot of Love. It's really just some great songs here. I don't have the full, list of what's on this album. I just basically have these Led Zeppelin albums, and sometimes also over the years, because you listen on Spotify and things like that, you may forget which one appears on which album. But Led Zeppelin in general are great, and this album is great, and probably difficult to find even a bad song on it. Uh, all right, next we have Nine Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral. And yeah, the downward spiral, Nine Inch Nails. I had this album. I thought it was pretty cool. When I this is many years ago. When it came out, I got it and I thought it was pretty cool. You know, a lot of people like they're always like all about the Nine Inch Nails. I appreciate them, but it's not that I listened to them all day and all night. I did have this album, and I remember it being at least kind of interesting. Um, Elvis Costello, this year's model. I'm not gonna lie to you here. I've never really subscribed to the whole Elvis Costello thing. I don't know what exactly about him is it supposed to be good. His music doesn't really tickle my fancy. It's fine if you like him. I wouldn't put him here. Whatever this is on the list, it doesn't mean anything to me. But if you like Elvis Costello, that's fine. Uh, Arturo Alejandro Arturo Alejandro Trevino says, "What is the topic right now?" Well, the topic is the top albums of all time. That's what we're going for here, and that's what we're discussing. Again, this was supposed to used to be a top secret stream exclusive on Rumble, but I made a mistake. So if you're on YouTube now, you may suddenly notice this stream and think to yourself, "What is this?" And rightfully so. So it is me talking about the top albums of all time, according to Rolling Stone magazine, who kind of sucks. Uh, this guy is just stealing from Elvis Presley and Lou Costello, probably. I never really just found anything. I can't think of one song of his or anything that like interests me. I don't really care. It's not for me. If you love him, it's fine. Exactly. Granola Grin says we were seeing what woke music journalists from Rolling Stone think all times albums are. That's pretty much a good description. Yes. So, 120 Van Morrison Moondance. I'm trying to think of something. I wouldn't put this here. Some people like Van Morrison. It doesn't really mean much to me. I struggle to remember now a song that I recognize from him, and I know a lot of music. It's just Van Morrison has always kind of just not really been my thing. Sly and the Family Stone, that's kind of a classic thing. Let me see. Uh, I'm trying to think. It's fine, you know. There's nothing wrong with Sly and the Family Stone. Not something that I listen to regularly. Maybe it deserves to be somewhere. I don't know. Is this is this the album that I like or whatever? I don't really know. I don't know what to say. The Eagles, Hotel California. There's nothing I can say. Hotel California, you can think the Eagles are cheesy or Hotel California is cheesy or whatever. That song is iconic. And the Eagles in general, just so you know, really, really solid band when it comes to like their musicianship. I mean, when you see them perform live, they sound, just as good as they recorded in the studio, and they sounded pretty darn good in the studio. It's not a band that necessarily I listen to every second, but I recognize that they're really good, really good musicians. At a time that you didn't have like Pro Tools and things like that, this is the type of band that would get into a studio and very efficiently record songs that sound like amazing. Then every note sounds exactly what it should be. Every person in the band knows what their role is, what they need to play at what moment. Very well coordinated. Singing is always like in tune, on point. A lot of really great things to say about it. So they're a very serious and professional band, even if it's not one that I listen to every second. But this absolutely deserves to be in the top 500, no doubt about that. Let's see what else. Kanye West, Late Registration. Eh, listen, I don't want to be an asshole here. He did his rap thing at the beginning. He did like the graduation. There were some stuff, Uh, I mean, I do think that Gold Digger was probably one of his better songs. It's fine. I mean, at least they put something from the early era of Kanye West, so I guess it's worth something. But quite honestly, I've always thought that like Kanye West gets maybe more praise than I would give him personally. Uh, he's good at what he does, I guess. He's a decent producer, but I think that at some point people started hyping him up that he's such a big genius, and he started hyping himself up that he's such a big genius. I think he's fine at what he does within his genre, but I also think that sometimes maybe too much hype. But still, this is one of the better albums. I think that previously I noticed another album is in the top 500, which was like a really garbage, in my opinion, garbage album. This at least maybe has some decent stuff on it, even though I personally it doesn't really speak to me. Then we have Putin 3 says Kanye is totally mental. Yes, he is. And if Kanye is here, the 50 Cent first album has to be here too. You're probably right about that. I don't dislike 50 Cent. I like, seems you found Price's secret. What was my secret? Uh, the Cure to Disintegration. Uh, which one is that? Let me think. What songs does it have? I feel like I used to have this CD. I'll put it this way, I don't dislike The Cure. They have, like, their own thing going and, their own style and a band that kind of has their own thing going on that you hear it and you immediately recognize it as them and they kind of do whatever they do. I don't mind that. I think it's fine. Uh, what I will say is that, they're not my favorite band, but they are influential. People like them, and I don't dislike them. So I would maybe let them be on a list of top 500 albums. I just don't know if I would put them here. Uh, Next, we have Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. Now, this one is a complicated one for me. As far as like new talent that does rap, again, it's not my number one genre because I prefer like rock and other stuff, but I also do have an appreciation, for hip hop, especially earlier hip hop. out of the later hip hop that's come out in the past, like, 10, 15 years or whatever it is, I think that Kendrick Lamar is one of the better ones out there, one of the better rappers out there that could still do something that's not like crappy, if you like that genre. With that being said, do I sit around and listen to this all day? Not really. What would I put it in 115? Probably not. But I can't also say that he doesn't have any talent for the genre that he does. It's just I don't personally listen to it all day, and I probably wouldn't put it here on the list. So hopefully I explained that. Is Blondie in this? I think she was at some point, but again, this is part 3. Parts 1 and 2 are like in a secret location on Rumble where you like only if you're a premium member you can hear it. I basically sit here and talk to myself. Today I miraculously ended up on YouTube, although I'm not sure how I did that, but it was a mistake. The Strokes, is this it? I don't really have anything to say about the Strokes. The Strokes, like at some point somebody was like, "Wow, aren't the Strokes great?" And then I listened to it and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I don't know. I wouldn't put it here. It doesn't mean shit to me. Sorry, Sean. The Smiths, The Queen is Dead. Now, I'm trying to think which one what songs are on this one. There's another Smiths album that I had that I think I like better than this one, but I will say that much like The Cure, the Smiths has their own style. The Smiths have a strange situation where the music sounds like optimistic, but the singer Morrissey always sounds like he's super depressed, and there's something like about that actually comes out pretty cool. So I don't dislike the Smiths. I don't dislike The Cure either. I don't know if I'd put them here on the list again. I'd maybe put something they did on some list, but I wouldn't necessarily put him here. But it's not bad. Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Let's see what's on it. You know, this one I struggle with. I mean, first of all, Elton John is brilliant. I mean, he's a really good musician. He plays piano really well. He sings well. He composes stuff well. I can't say that he's bad at anything, but when I'm at home and I want to put on music that I think is cool, I probably won't put too much of Elton John. Maybe like if you forced me to say a few songs of his that I am cooler with, maybe like I'm Still Standing or something like that. There's a few songs of his that I like better than others. Some of these for me, like honestly, now people don't really listen to radio much, but sometimes in my car, once in a blue moon, I'll put on radio or something. For some reason, maybe I just don't have time to start doing like playlists, and I just click on something, and let's say Elton John appears. There's a good chance that I'll change the channel. If it's not like I'm Still Standing, good chance that I'm changing the channel. Like Benny and the Jets, I'm changing that. Candle in the Wind, changing that immediately. You know what I mean? And another one I like, maybe sorry seems to be the hardest word. Maybe, I'm Still Standing. There's a few that I'll tolerate more than others. The ones that almost everybody like unanimously loves, all that like Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer, whatever, changing the channel. Yeah, yeah, it's fine. It's like, listen, I also, many years ago when he was sort of like, really in top form, I saw him perform. Obviously, great show, obviously, great musician, and I respect that. But it just doesn't, it's not for me. You know what I mean? It's a little bit cheesy, like, the same way that also most of what you put on that like Billy Joel did, you'll put on Billy Joel, it'll annoy me. Like a lot of times people get excited. I don't know if it's like at a baseball game or something. They play like the Piano Man, or I don't know what. At different places, like they play Piano Man. When I hear the Piano Man, I automatically become depressed. It's a repetitive song that never ends, and I want it to end after about 10 seconds, but then it lasts for like years. It doesn't end. It's so annoying. And fine, I mean, the guy can sing and he can play piano, but man, is that song annoying. Sorry, Sean. I didn't even curse. You know what? Didn't say anything bad. Uh, yeah, I think that without Bernie Taupin or whatever his name is, Elton John was better with him than without him. Uh, Elton John, either you like him or you don't. I could recognize that somebody is a really good musician, but still not feel like listening to his music, and I think that Elton John falls into that category. I would say something similar about Billy Joel as well. Um, Janet Jackson, Control. I'm gonna be honest with you all here. Uh, I've always thought that, like, without Michael Jackson, you don't have Janet Jackson. I think that, like, in the '80s, Michael Jackson was so popular that Janet Jackson could also become something. I've never thought that her music is anywhere on the level of anything that he did. People are always like, "But she sold so many albums." Yeah, I mean, she was Janet Jackson. You know, it was a very strong name, a very strong thing to be. Like, at the height of, like, Thriller and Bad, to release albums as Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson's sister, who kind of gives, like, a vibe of Michael Jackson, but she's sort of a woman. That's obviously gonna be a strong selling point. I'm not trying to be a dick, but seriously, if Michael Jackson didn't exist and Janet Jackson released albums, I don't know where it would go. Maybe nowhere. Uh, it's not to say that she's not talented. She can sing, she can dance. I don't hate her, but yeah, I have to. I don't want to lie to you. This is the song that never ended. It just goes on, my friend. Some people started singing without knowing what it was and continued singing it forever just because. Something like that. Yeah. She's more famous for the nip slip. I feel bad. I feel bad about what happened with that slip because I feel like it probably wasn't her fault, and everybody gave what's his name, Justin Timberlake, a pass. So I don't want to just throw her on the under the bus. I also I don't hate her. You know, it's not that I'm like a hater of Janet Jackson, but at the same time, I wouldn't put this at 111, and I also wanted to clear the air here. Michael Jackson, 100% should be on this list. Very important artist. Janet Jackson, she's all right, but kind of always been, in my opinion, blown out of proportion. Like, think about it. When you think about Michael Jackson, I can give you so many songs of his that like are iconic. When I think of like Janet Jackson, it's like, "What have you done for me lately?" That's like a "Oh, you nasty boys." Like, I don't know, I can't even really think of, like, there's, like, Rhythm Nation, I don't know what it's just it's not like that I don't have, like, 50 songs. Ironically, probably the song that I like the best out of hers is the song "Scream," mainly because it's a duet with Michael Jackson. That's probably the reason why I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is kinda cool." But, yeah, that's my opinion. Um, Next we have, Joni Mitchell, "Court and Spark." Joni Mitchell followed up Blue with the underrated For the Roses, a set of harmonically blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm going to tell you this. I think that Joni Mitchell, legitimate songwriter, you know, and I understand that a lot of times people are always really eager to kind of boost her. You didn't have a lot of ladies on the scene doing what she did, and she did it pretty decently. With all of that being said, I've always felt that there's other people that are more excited about Joni Mitchell than I am. I mean, what's her big like song that she's putting up a parking lot or something? I don't know. Like I don't give a shit about the parking lot or about like it's fine, I guess. Oh, na, 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 na. What other? Put up a parking lot. Ooh, pop, pop, pop. I don't even know if that's where the song goes, but in any case, I have nothing to say about her. Lou Reed Transformer. I've already said this. Lou Reed, I respect him and I respect the Velvet Underground, but at the same time, it's also not like an artist or a band, whether solo or a band. I don't really listen to them much in my spare time, even though I do respect them. I think that they're very, very influential and probably deserve a space like on the top 500. Not necessarily 100% my cup of tea, but I don't dislike it either. I have respect for it. I just don't know if I would put this here for my taste. Fiona Apple, you can remove that. I don't know why this conspiracy with Fiona Apple has been chasing me for years. I don't know what you want from me. We're doing like the top 500 of albums of all time. Respectfully, like we can easily remove Fiona Apple from this thing. And I suspect sometimes that this list in Rolling Stone, they're like, we have to put X amount of women here, we have to do this, we have to have this kind of representation, that kind of. I almost feel like some things that are going on here are not genuine, and for me, Fiona Apple is absolutely a conspiracy. Let's move on. Next, we have television Marquee Moon. I don't even. I'm trying to think. I don't even know. It's like, is this important enough to even be on the top 500? Have nothing to say about it. It probably means something to somebody, but if I don't automatically know a bunch of songs from this at the top of my head, which I usually do know stuff, I don't think that this thing belongs where it's at. I would even question if it belongs on the top 500, but certainly not at 107. Uh, Hole, Live Through This. Isn't that Courtney Love's band? Yeah, excuse me, you can boot this off the list or whatever. There's nothing that Hole did that requires them, to be on the top 500, let alone the top 106 album of all time. No fucking way. Sorry, Sean. No way. This is again one of those things that they want to say, look, like we need to have enough women here. I don't care. There are women that make music that I like, or singers that I like, or musicians, or whatever it is. Courtney Love, you know, sorry, excuse me, but I can remove this and I'd feel good about it. The Allman Brothers, that's fine. Again, do I listen to the Allman Brothers all day? I don't really, but they are like a classic band. Uh, it is a legitimate band, and those kind of early classic, no, not early, but like classic rock. They have quality. They're not a bad band. Probably is it for me like the 105? I don't know, but they're a good band at least. I can't say that they're not. The Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers. Well, at least it's one of their earlier albums. Let me see what they have here. You know, personally, I think that like the best work that they did was their very early albums. Like I feel like from the second that you didn't have Brian Jones in their band, everybody's like, no, they didn't need him. They were much better without him. I think they weren't much better without him. I think they were better with him. I don't think he was in Sticky Fingers. I feel like Sticky Fingers is where they didn't have him in the band. I'd like to check that out just so I don't seem like uh, an asshole. Let's see. Rolling Stones. Let's see who was here. I don't think he's in here. Uh, Personnel. Yeah, he's not here. Just like I thought. So basically, I think that the Rolling Stones, I have a lot of respect for them. They've been around for a million years and they still perform. And they do their thing. You got to give them that kind of respect that they're here and they do stuff. They were a part of so many eras and they have some good songs that I genuinely like. However, most of their good songs, in my opinion, were like in the late '60s. I feel like '70s you could scoop up a few songs at best, and maybe the '80s Start Me Up. I don't know what it's like. They really sort of hit a certain peak at a certain point and never really became as good. And I would still argue that they were better with Brian Jones than without him. Anybody can make any arguments and claim whatever they want, but that's what I feel. And the other thing I'll say is that they are a good performing band and they're a good touring band and they're good at like keeping that brand alive and all that stuff. But think about it: the Beatles existed from like they were releasing albums from like 1962 to 1970 or something, and within that time frame they have like 300 hits. Like every song of theirs, it's like a home run. Meanwhile, you have the Rolling Stones that have been around from the late 60s till 2026. They've released like 7 million albums, and at best, if you're lucky, you could maybe do a compilation CD or compilation playlist or whatever with some tunes of theirs that are pretty good. But it really shows you the difference when it comes to the catalog. They have some iconic songs and all that stuff. They just don't have as much as you think a band would have after so many years. Uh, do they deserve to be in the top 500 somewhere? Sure. Sticky Fingers, I would listen to it. I haven't listened to it. I've heard every album of theirs at some point. Haven't listened to this in a long time. Would have to listen to it to give my thoughts if it deserves a top 500 place. But I wanted to have a candid conversations about the Stones. 7 million? Yeah, totally 7 million, Jill. By the way, Jill, you're welcome to join me if you're a music connoisseur. I don't know if you are. You're probably like thinking, "What is this stream?" But let's see. I'm gonna find Jill. Hopefully, I can find her somewhere. Okay, I found her. I sent her a link, and now she's gonna run away. I'm sorry, I'm falling asleep right now. I don't blame her though. Yeah, but I did send you a DM, Jill. Then what do we have here? Rolling Stone, Painted Black is my favorite song of theirs. It's also the only song of theirs I can name. Fair enough. They have like I think I like the song Jumping Jack Flash the best. You have I don't know, some people Angie, Wild Horses, I don't know what. Like there's a few songs that are fine. Satisfaction, I don't know what. Like what's Give Me Shelter or whatever. There's some good songs, but are they really, the best thing that ever happened? Is Emperor Goodwin here? You know what? I'm gonna send him an invite, which I'm sure he's gonna wipe his ass with. But here you go. I don't even know if he likes music or gives a shit about any of this, but I'm gonna write. You're welcome to join. I'll add, buddy. That's what I wrote. I wrote, "You're welcome to join, buddy." So yeah, how do you like them apples? Uh, Jill has probably run away. Let's see for a second. Now we have from some late guy, Long Island 90. May not be your style, but as far as female lead bands, I've gotten into the Schwerges lately. Lead singer is an absolute cutie. Likely not on the list, but I like them. Have to say, I don't really know much about that. Uh, Emperor Goodwin says, "Joke's on you, Price. I never wipe my ass." Well, that's good to know. I could say some things about that, but I think they are not going to be PC, so I want to keep my mouth shut. Uh, Next, we have 103 De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising. I'm going to surprise you and say that I actually had this album growing up, and I didn't hate it. I thought it was kind of cool. It's one of those kind of early, hip hop, whatever, rap hip hop, early pioneers. They had their own thing going. I could see that if you wanted the genre of like, rap hip hop, if you were looking for some of the origins and early works that, weren't considered influential, I think that this band is legitimate. Would I put them in 103? I don't know. Do I like them that much? I'm not sure. But do I think that they're worth something? Yes. Like I don't think it's crap. So make of that what you will. Uh, like I said, at least I don't think that they're like terrible. I think that for whatever they do, it's fine. The Clash, that's not a bad album. Uh, I don't know which album is this. It's not the one with Rock the Casbah, but is it? Does it have Should I Stay or Should I Go? I don't even know what's on this thing, but it says some songs here. I'm not 100% sure that I'm as familiar with this album, but I do think that the Clash are a good album, like a good band. Uh, they kind of heard what the Ramones were doing and tried to kind of put a little British spin on it and do whatever. It's fine. I don't dislike the Clash. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. Uh, I assume it's pronounced Churches. They're like a pop synth band. Leave a Trace and Screaming are my favorite at the moment. I'm gonna have to check them out, but I will do that. You said they're good, and I'm gonna check it out. Cam9087 says De La Soul bangs. You know what? Yeah, I think that they have something cool, and that's why I didn't, throw them under the bus. I have some integrity, even as we do this list in the middle of the night. Uh, okay, the next thing we have here is Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin, and yeah, that's a good album. That is a really good album. Babe, I'm gonna leave you. That's a communication breakdown. Amazing. It's hard not to find, like, most of these Led Zeppelin albums are top notch and deserve to be on this list. In some cases, probably higher than some of the other crap that these Rolling Stone people put on the list. I think we have Emperor Goodwin with us. Are you here?
So,
If it's okay if you don't have like an avatar, I can just put a picture of you.
yeah, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Well, it's a wonderful day.
So
Yeah, I got my secret decoder ring and found this super secret stream, so I'm
it's
ready to jump in. Let's make this happen.
it's so
And I'm so
it's
happy to join when Led Zeppelin is being discussed.
You know what? This is gonna be fun. But I'll tell you what, these are streams that I usually do just as a Rumble Premium exclusive, and I clicked the YouTube button by accident, and I never even made it an exclusive. So I did everything wrong, actually.
Perfect.
This turned out exactly the opposite of what it was supposed to be. But you know what? Sometimes there's like a happy accident or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's the Bob Ross thing. It's a happy little accident.
Exactly. So, uh, I'm so grateful that Emperor Goodwin has joined us. I also sent one to Jill. Jill, I see you, and I sent you. Is that you running away? Yeah, I think you are running away. In any case, you are invited to join. But yeah, so just to fill you in on what's going on, this is a list that Rolling Stone did of the top 500 albums. We're currently like in the number 100 spot. Since the other ones were kind of secret streams that nobody could even find, I'll tell you that like there was a lot of crap and a lot of kind of weird political choices
Mhm.
throughout the like first 400. Now we're like in the 100, and I wonder if it's going to get any better, or that like we're still going to get these weird shitty albums that don't deserve to be here.
Well, it's Rolling Stone, so I believe that there will be shitty albums all throughout because there's a lot of people working there that I don't think understand music at all.
You're probably right. They don't even do music anymore. Anti-derivative Jill says, "Also, surprised you have the best anti-derivative Jill impression." Thank you. I tried my best. It was exactly like a middle of the night type of impression, for
No,
good and for bad.
as long as it's before 3 a.m. because nothing good happens at 3 a.m. Those are always bad ideas. That's that.
No, no, nothing good. I do regret. I mean, I'm happy that there's at least a few people on YouTube hanging out, but this was all, this didn't turn out the way I see. The other ones, I basically talked to myself. It's a really long story. But now we're here and I can't back out of it now. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah,
Led
we're in it to win
Zeppelin,
it.
yeah, in it to win it. What do you think about this Led Zeppelin thing? This is a good album. I don't think anybody could claim it wasn't a good album.
No, I think it absolutely deserves to be top 100, and I'd be interested to see what they have, ahead of it, whether they deserve it or not. I mean, it's probably not the best Zepp album, but I mean, it's a hell of a debut.
They had they had other ones. They had like what's his face? They had Led Zeppelin 2 also on the list. Also a good album. I mean,
Yeah,
for me, it's kind of a blur. I used to have those albums separately, but then over the years I just kind of listen on Spotify, and sometimes I even forget which song is on which album. But generally speaking, Led Zeppelin, it's like they don't have many misfires, you know what I mean? You put on a Led Zeppelin album, playlist, whatever it is, compilation, whatever it is that you're going to do, you're going to hear quality music. You're not going to hear crap. You know what I mean? It's not like you suddenly, oh no, what have they done? This is like terrible. That doesn't happen in my opinion.
yeah. What I mean of the albums that you can remember, what's your favorite Zepp album?
I had the one There's one that I think I listen to a lot, but again, now it's all a blur to me.
Mm.
Something that has like a painting of a tree. Do I make any sense? Or I think it starts
Mm.
with "Hey hey mama, got another groove, gonna make you
Well,
down." I don't know.
that's 4. Yeah, the symbols, because
I
it's
think
got
that I liked 4 especially,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I remember listening more to that one maybe than some of the other ones. Again, not to take away that the other ones are also great. You know, you're not going to hear me talk trash about Led Zeppelin, but I think that that one was like I had that album and I properly would listen to it a lot. Like I like that one. I don't know where it's considered amongst the bigger connoisseurs like you that know every track and every album, but is 4 considered a good one?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason that, like, people that get introduced to Led Zeppelin, 4 is, like, the one that you buy because you just have, I mean, so many, classic, tracks on that one, and there's no real misses on that one at all. Mine, I mean, if I had to choose, I mean, I really love Zep 4, but Physical Graffiti is probably my favorite one, because it has some tracks that are really good, kind of showing off each one of them, but then also some stuff that where they really work well. Like In My Time of Dying is a favorite track of mine, and that's off of Physical Graffiti.
I see.
And then you get little, like, I mean, it's such a bizarre thing because In My Time of Dying is like this, like huge, massive. It's like 10, 11 minutes, um, and then you get things like Boogie with Stu.
Wait,
Uh,
Kashmir is on this one, on the one that you
yep,
just
yep.
I really like that one. Kashmir is like, I've always really liked that song. Didn't he use like a bow on his guitar or
Hmm.
something?
Yeah, yeah,
I love that shit.
yep. Yeah, there's I mean, yeah, there's so many like really, really interesting songs they did, like In the Light, which was in Manhunters, when he's visiting the guy and is scared, right? Like, he's afraid of being assaulted, and then he has like the panic attack in the hallway. They're playing the beginning of In the Light, which is this very drone buzzing kind of thing, to start out with. It's just they experimented with a lot of sounds. I mean, Jimmy Page was pretty crazy with that.
I believe that Physical Graffiti was something like in the, maybe 200s or something. I think I ran into it on this list, but it wasn't here. And after they put that one, they put so much garbage on. That's what I have an issue with. I was telling people, and I've done this, throughout the secret streams on this one that was supposed to be secret, but accidentally isn't. That these people at Rolling Stone, they either don't like music, don't know music, or worse, there's also this kind of little agenda. It's like, we need a woman here.
Hmm.
Isn't Joni Mitchell like better than this? And it's like, no, she's not better
No,
than this.
she was.
Like
I
it's
never understood the glazing that Joni Mitchell got.
because she was a woman in the landscape, and you know what? It's fine. I'm not saying like she's okay, but
Well,
like
she
just
was
to start
also highly political, right? So she gets bonus points for
right.
that. Yeah.
Right. But I wouldn't shove her in with like, sandwich her in between like Led Zeppelin and I don't know what else we're talking about here.
Well, the
It just doesn't
band,
feel
I mean,
right.
at 100 there, the band,
The band, music from Big Pink.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. I feel like I should know what this is, but I'm drawing a
Yes.
blank here.
So the band, you have, Levon Helm and God, I can't remember, what the guitarist's name was. So they were Dylan's, touring band. That's why they just call themselves the
Okay.
band. But they did The Weight, and, oh god, down on the yeah, down on Cripple Creek. She says, yeah. They were so they had a
Okay, I
Scorsese
just put it on in the
actually did.
background. I know what it is,
Yeah.
and it's fine. You know what I mean? It's fine. I just heard I'm like, "Oh, I know what this is." It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, so
Uh
so if you really want to get like a good taste of their music and kind of some others that worked with them, So Martin Scorsese actually did their last performance was called The Last Dance. It was they were done going to break up, and so he shot it in San Francisco and filmed the concert. And it's a pretty good
But
movie.
I mean, is it the best 100 album of all time?
No, I mean I don't think the band it should be this high. Although, I mean, given what I suspect will start showing up, it certainly should be ahead of some of that
Yes.
crap. Yeah,
I mean, in '99, we're with Taylor Swift Red,
yeah.
and this is already.
Hell no,
What'd you say?
hell no.
Right. This should not even be on the, like, I don't want to see her. Ideally, I don't even want to see her on the top 500. She certainly does not deserve to be in 99. I'll take the band now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry about what I said about the band. I regret it now that I see that she's in 99.
Upon
Like, now,
further review.
right, upon further review, this is absolute bullshit. Like, this is weird glazing, like you said. And you know what I don't like is that Taylor Swift is not all that. She lives in a time where they basically sidelined all the rock and roll musicians, all the men. She basically you know you know what I'm saying? They managed to get rid of all the cool music, and now like they just have her, and you have all the radio or whatever it is, like the mainstream pushing her always like she's some kind of genius. There's nothing genius about her. People are like, do you know she has more Grammys than the Beatles? I don't give a crap. I don't give a fuck how many. You could give her another 100 Grammys and it wouldn't change my opinion of her. She does bubblegum music for little girls, and in a way she's one of the reasons why music sucks today. Now the one thing I'll say is she's a good businesswoman. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
She may not have, I don't think she writes good music. I don't think she's the best singer. I don't think there's anything that she does that's the best. Marketing woman, I'll give her, you have to know how to run this kind of brand and business and whatever. Give her credit that like that's what she knows how to do. But this isn't a list of the top 500 brand builders. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the top 500 albums of all time, and this bullshit from Taylor Swift, it does not belong here, not by a long shot.
No. No, it does not.
I
But
mean,
yeah, I think you're right. You have to give her credit as a businesswoman, and if you look at so the thing about like music now is everything is so programmed and algorithmic. There's no real A&R type stuff that's going on now with record companies trying to find new artists, helping to build them up, doing small releases and all that. I mean, it's just okay. Well, we need attractive man slash woman or hipster, and then we will come up with the song. No, you're not going to write anything. We've got it. You'll have 18 different people writing it. It'll all be the beat and the key that they play it and all that stuff will just match kind of a set the design that they have, and here you go. They'll roll it out, have a music video, it'll pop off or not, and it's why you see them cycle through so many people, right? Because they're just disposable. I mean, it's almost like the monkeys, or
the
the
Monkees are way better than Taylor Swift. Let
they
me tell you
are. I
something.
agree. I agree because you actually had to manufacture something and you were up against some serious competition. But
Not
now it's
only
just
that,
bubblegum of the moment. Let's go.
not only that, I will say that the Monkees, there's a bit of empathy I feel for them, because at least two people in that band actually did know something about music. They
Yeah.
just weren't given a chance to prove it. And you had a lot of producers step in, and you had the show that they had to appear on. And I think that there's some songs that you could hear that like Michael Nesmith actually wrote, which are not bad.
Hmm.
And I think that under a different set of circumstances, I think that the Monkees had some music to offer that wasn't bad or anything. Even their kind of more manufactured stuff is still, you know, they brought some pretty great like musicians from like the Wrecking Crew and things like that at the time to come in and really help like put some of these things together in the studio. And all in all, like I wish that all quote unquote manufactured bands were on the level of the Monkees, because some of those songs are rather enjoyable. I mean, again, there are some issues, and we could argue about what the production and all the stuff that happened there. But I still don't. I still rate them more than I rate Taylor Swift. I would unironically listen to any Monkees album over listening to whatever the fuck this Red thing is.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's my opinion on it.
Yep.
We can get into a conversation about the Monkees another time, but it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, it was they were, it's like actors that get typecast, where they really could have been very successful, but they get, everybody just knows them for this one role. The Monkees kind of got screwed because of the TV series.
yeah, what is it? Monkees. What's that song that it's I can't remember it. Michael Nesmith has a song that he wrote, which is the one that like there's one really good one, but now is it
Yeah, sadly it's 1:30 in the morning. My mind is already halfway shut down. It's on the way to go to sleep, but I was like, "Oh, look, some song. I'll talk about them." Sadly, now I'm looking at Taylor Swift and things like that.
I understand. Does that mean you have to go?
No. I mean, I will in a bit, but
You have
I
to
just
stay forever as we do
is
this
that what it
list.
is? Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
97 Metallica Master of Puppets. I like the album.
yeah,
I don't know where I would put it because there's some classic rock albums. Do I put this here? I don't know. But do I like Master of Puppets? I do. And I will even say, and I've said it before, when the Black Album of Metallica came out, I wasn't that familiar with Metallica. But then I wanted to listen to their previous albums because I liked it so much. And then when I started listening to their previous albums, like Master of Puppets, I started thinking to myself, I kind of like this better than the Black Album.
hmm
And then I listened to like Injustice for All, and I'm like, I know I like that better. Uh, and I think I there was like Ride the Lightning. Every time I listened to something, like I would start getting these albums. I think I got them, and I'm like, I want to listen to what came before this, and I'm like, man, this is the real deal. And then I understood at the end, like in a reversed process that maybe other people went through. I eventually understood that Black Album one was more the sellout album,
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
even so, it's not a bad album, but compared to what they did before, it's not as good. I do like Master of Puppets. I think it belongs on the top 500. Do I put this here? I don't know, but I think that it's a good album at least. It's not like Taylor Swift Red.
Yeah, and I mean, Metallica really had to, they built up their brand because metal just, I mean, that wasn't a thing that record companies wanted to hear about, and it wasn't hitting any, top 40 stuff or whatever. So Metallica, they very much guerrilla marketed, themselves and built a huge following, and it's Master of Puppets that's really kind of the commercial success where they had built it up enough that they could get really solid sales. They actually encouraged like bootlegging early on as well, which is why it was a bit odd when they suddenly went against Napster. But
Yeah, that's so and I think that also showed that there was something that not cool about them as they were in the past in general. Uh, I honestly, even before Napster, when they did like Unforgiven Part 2 and like
mhm.
Load and Reloaded, Load and Reload, whatever those albums were, I understood that like they will no longer be Metallica, not the
Yeah,
real Metallica. And
yeah.
I know that's a terrible thing to say. Anti-derivative Jill says that she likes your voice.
Oh well, there you go.
So
It's because I'm nearly asleep, and
that's the best.
I'm
That's
I'm
the
starting
best.
to go by NPR voice now.
That's
Let's
exactly
listen
what
to
we
the
need right
easy
now.
listening sounds.
96 REM Automatic for the People. Uh,
Ooh.
I think that the album before this was probably the one that had Losing My Religion, I think, and
Mhm.
Shining Happy People. I probably like that one more. I don't hate
Yeah.
REM. I don't know if they belong here on the list. I mean, I could put them in something they did in the top 500. I probably wouldn't put them in 96 and not this album. Uh, I'm trying to think what was it? Is this the one? 'Cause everybody hurts. Whatever.
Yeah, I think that is.
Sometime
Yeah,
when the day is long, something like that.
yeah.
Uh, it's fine, but it was kind of sappy. You know what I mean? I wanted the
Hmm.
kind of cool. I feel like when you think about it, they didn't really have such great songs on this album. What do
No,
they have?
I think the previous was better. I mean, I think part of what kind of popped this album was John Paul Jones being involved with it, and his, you know, production and the music that he brought to it. But I think they were kind of riding the high of, you know, the prior one. Does this one have What's the Frequency, Kenneth, or is that
That's already the next one, and honestly, What's the
okay?
Frequency, Kenneth, is like the end of the band, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
once that song came out, I said, "Okay, they're finished."
I mean, I love it because it's a song about Dan Rather getting his ass kicked. So let's go. That's I'm always down with any song that
I
involves Dan Rather getting his ass kicked.
I didn't even know what the song was about, but I just thought that the music didn't speak to me. And I'll give you something, you know, when it comes to John Paul Jones, you know, arrangements and stuff like that, this album is well produced. It
Hmm.
has a certain vibe and atmosphere. I just feel like the songs that they composed are not as strong as the ones that came in the album before.
Hmm.
The album before was a better album. This one's maybe was a more polished album.
Yeah, yeah. I think they had already well. So the problem is like with an alternative or punk band is when you're successful, suddenly you're not quite the same person you were before, and it gets a little harder to write things that still fit the audience that you built up and why they're following you, right? I mean, I always remember Twisted Sister, D. Snyder, talking about after you know they were successful in this, you know, the record company's like we need another record, and he's like, what the hell? I mean, I can't sing about how angry I am and how life is tough when I'm sitting in my mansion by the pool. Just, you know, I have an entirely different vibe at that point. I don't know that I have the same energy or drive.
That is true. That is true. You know, I'm looking at the song list here. Again, even Man on the Moon. It's an okay song, but do I love this song? Like, if you believe they put a man on the moon. It's like, I don't know. They don't have, there was something a little more edgy about the Out of Time album. That you
Hmm.
actually had songs that maybe it's like you said, it felt like they were saying something. This one was just like they had a lot of pressure to deliver something good after that album, which was like a juggernaut success.
Yeah.
And they did what the record label wanted. They sold the albums and it did well enough, but it just, you know, when history judges it and the smoke is cleared, I think that it's kind of overrated.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. And Man on the Moon, I mean, again, it's referencing Andy Kaufman, and you have another song referencing Dan
Right.
Rather. I
And
was like, okay, now we're starting to get too meta. This is a bit
too
silly.
meta. And then I guess they had it in the movie. I think it appeared in the movie about Annie Kaufman.
Yeah.
So 95 Drake, Take Care. I would absolutely remove this. I'm sorry, like, you know, nothing personal here. Uh, I'm not gonna, you know, I don't want to throw Drake under the bus, but quite honestly, like this is the big league here, supposed to be, and man, I wouldn't put this here.
No. No.
Not even in the field of like rap, you know what I mean? You're not even in the field of
No.
hip hop and rap. Like it's not that doesn't feel like to me a top 100 thing. I would not put that here.
Yeah, that's one of the things that because I was a rap fan in the '80s and early '90s, but it was because a lot of a lot of the artists actually were talking about you know, conditions in what they were living in. I mean, you have the Message, you know, in the early '80s, and White Lines. Um, you know, then you have Public Enemy
Yep,
and NWA. You know,
agreed.
again, talking about this stuff, and then it became hip hop dance stuff, and it just became uh, look at all my bitches and how much money I have, and that's it. And it's just stayed that way for forever, and so, I
Right.
mean, it just really degraded the genre.
They lost the authenticity. There was
Yeah.
something about those early you know, groups or artists, and I agree with you 100%. I am in the same mindset as you. There's something in those early hip hop, early rap groups that felt more authentic and felt like they were saying something you could agree without something you could not agree, but you were getting a glimpse of something that they were going through or living through, and it didn't feel like some kind of phony baloney stuff to you. It felt like to them it was real, and maybe some of that authenticity it shined through when you listened to it. You could like it or not like it, but at least you couldn't call them phonies, some
Yeah,
of those people.
yeah,
Whereas today it's like it's become like stupid commercial crap. It's just people, in many cases, they're not even properly rapping. They're just mumbling or using some weird auto tune. It's all like bitches in the club here, bitches in the club there, popping bottles and bitches and cars and whatever. And it's like,
yeah.
yeah, whatever. It's just, it's lost. It's lost any edge that it had for the
Mhm.
most part, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's basically, like the influencers that are always showing, look at my Lambo, look at this or whatever. If they were making music, it would be this, right? What current rap and hip hop is.
Right. 94, The Stooges. That's like with Iggy Pop, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. I respect Iggy Pop. I respect the Stooges. To tell you that I listen to the Stooges all day, I'd be lying to you. But
Yeah.
I respect them and don't listen to them much. Is that a weird thing to say?
No, I mean, it's kind of like there are movies that I know are very good, but I just don't, they don't work for me. That doesn't mean that they're bad, right? There's a difference between my tastes and then objectively whether they're good, or not. And the Stooges, if nothing else, you can look at and go, they're very influential, right? I mean, they're proto punk, but still rock enough that people can enjoy some of the songs that they're putting out. You definitely later punk will look at the Stooges and reference them and say they were inspired by it in one way or another. And
Yeah.
Iggy Pop, for God's sakes, that man, what the hell is going on with him? I mean, he's absolutely insane. I think he has zero body fat and always had, but somehow he's just lived forever. Right? You just look at me and you're like, this guy is going to burn out and be dead by 30. And no, no, he was still rocking at 60. And I don't know how the hell old he is right now.
No, I do appreciate that he's still like doing whatever he did.
Mhm.
Sorry, I burped.
Well, it's
That's
probably part of the Stooges.
it's
It
the
was an
first time
homage.
that I think I burped live. First time that happened to me.
Well, let's mark that down. That'll be put in the lore. Everybody
Right
will
in the
keep
lore
track of
now.
that. Hmm.
I feel bad about it, but I was drinking a soda and talking to you at the same time. I guess I was trying to juggle too many things. It was a very little, almost
Yeah, it was a
unnoticeable.
small one. Yeah,
Small, yeah.
yeah.
93 Missy Elliott, Super Duper Fly. Eh,
Mm,
I don't know, man. I could just remove this altogether. I'm sorry.
yeah, I was never a huge Missy
I
Elliott fan.
like again, if you want to look at those kind of earlier rap and she's a woman rapping or whatever, it's fine. Do I put this like we had some Led Zeppelin albums here. Again,
Exactly. We got Missy Elliott ahead.
she's doing better than Led Zeppelin, like a few Led Zeppelin. There were, if you would have seen some of the other things that were on the list lower and her here, it's kind of embarrassing. She does
Mhm.
not deserve to be here, in my opinion. Definitely
No,
not in the top 100.
no.
So that's that one. 92, The Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis Bold as Love. I do like Jimi Hendrix. To tell you that I remember, he had some albums. I don't remember each one what it does. I had, I think, mainly compilations and stuff. I'm trying to think if I had an album proper of his, and I
Mhm.
don't know if that I did, but I do like Jimi Hendrix. I mean, Jimi Hendrix 100% deserves to be on lists of like best of because he's Jimi Hendrix. It's not, can't take that away from him. Uh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just, I'm trying to see what songs does this one has.
This is his first one, right? I think it was his next album that has most of the stuff that people remember. Um, but I mean, Jimmy's a big thing. I mean, he was obviously a brilliant guitarist, but also um, brilliant in understanding the effects chains, different pedals and routing and all that stuff that he wanted to get a particular sound, right? So he really understood, the electronics and the effects that he's feeding
Uh,
into his
I,
amps and then using feedback and all that.
I would argue years ahead of his time.
Yes.
Meaning, you can listen to his contemporaries, and I don't think that any of them quite understand how to use those kind of effects as well as he did.
Hmm.
Uh, he understood what it means to use the electric guitar as its own instrument in a
Yes.
way that a lot of these people were a number of years behind him, and it's too bad. It's a tragedy that he died so young because I feel like I would have liked to have seen more of what he had to offer, especially as the technology improved a bit. What we'd be hearing from him, but we'll never know that. Again,
Yeah. I
this
think
isn't.
Well, I
Sorry,
think
go on.
one of the things about Hendrix is if you listen to contemporaries in '67, you're going to get distortion. That's about it. And then Jimmy comes out, and a lot of them, a lot of like the British bands, when they first saw him, guys like Clapton and all that, Clapton and all that, going, we're going to have to change our setup because this guy is doing something that we have never heard, and but they immediately recognized the future when they heard Hendrix.
Well, there's all these stories. I mean, I think I mentioned in one of the previous streams that Eric Clapton was at some place in London where Jimi Hendrix performed, and I think he saw it and he left or something. Like he was like shaken and stirred by what he had seen,
Yeah,
meaning he knew that this guy is like the real deal, and felt like he was used to going around where people told him that he was the real deal,
yeah,
but then he saw Hendrix and he started feeling maybe he's not the real deal. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
You got to step up your game. Come on in. What is fine?
Right, exactly. So interesting. And the other thing, there was something else, but I don't remember it now. Oh, you talked about the monkeys. I don't know. This is a strange anecdote. You know that one of Jimi Hendrix's early breaks came when he opened for the Monkees on tour. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
So what happened was is that Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees, I believe it was him. He happened to catch a show. Like people were like, "You got to see this guy," and he sees Jimi Hendrix perform. And the Monkees are supposed to go on their tour with these kind of teeny bopper girls or whatever was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
And he told the people that were running his tour. He said, "You take a look at this guy. You really want him to open for us. He's so great." And I think that Jimi Hendrix opened in a number of their shows, but felt so out of place there. Like he was awesome, but the crowd that came to see it were not the kind of crowd that
yeah.
really fully
It's,
understands
it wasn't
why
really the
he's
psychedelic crowd coming to see the monkeys. Yeah, it
right.
was-
And it kind of, I don't know, it went kind of south, but initially that was considered one of his early breaks. So yeah.
yeah. That's
Um
nice.
uh Bruce Springsteen, I think he's kind of overrated. I wouldn't put him in 91 here.
I would
Darkness.
agree. I would agree. I think Springsteen again. I don't understand the obsession with him. I mean, he has some good songs, and but I just never it never hit. And of course, in the '80s, you had to own Born in the USA. And some pretty good tracks off of that. And then, of course, everybody heard Born to Run. Wasn't
Yeah.
it actually New Jersey that considered making Born to Run their state anthem?
I hope not, because I live in Jersey and I prefer not to hear that song every second.
Yeah.
Although,
Well, but I think every state anthem should have suicide in their anthem. That really is.
well, I will say this: "Born to Run" is actually one of his better songs. "Born in the USA." There are some songs. I said it also when I think the "Born in the USA" album came up. It's not that I have only bad things to say about him, but I do think that he's been, like you said before about somebody else, been overglazed over the
Yes,
years.
yes,
He's okay, but people want to make more of him than what he is. The only
yeah,
other compliment I gave him is that a number of years ago, a friend of mine got tickets to see him perform and convinced me to go with him to see it. And I'd never seen him perform live before. It was a very professional show. Like, as a musician, I could appreciate the type of production and the production value of the show and how professional he was and all that. I can appreciate all of that, but it's not like I left the show and then I wanted to listen to his music all day, even
Yeah.
though I respected him.
Yeah.
So that it is what it is.
Yeah.
Next we have 90 Neil Young After the Gold Rush. I'm gonna drop a bomb, like a a kind of a bomb here. I think that Neil Young is a bit overrated.
I think Neil Young is a lot overrated. Um,
I'm willing to compromise and say that he's even a lot overrated. I don't think he's crap, but I think that at some point somebody, like, there's another one of those conspiracies. Somebody decided that they have to always say that he's so great, greater than what I think he deserves to be.
yeah.
Like, it's fine. It's fine. He had his moment there in the late 60s and did whatever. It's fine. But is he that good? Is he that important? And I would say that I think that he gets glazed more than he needs to get glazed.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the oh, he's Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and they're so influential, and and then he goes on his own. And first of all, that man can't sing. Neil Young needs to stop singing. It just he sounds like he's whining all the time.
Right, right,
And again, it's everything is political with him, and
right.
it's like, shut up, I don't want to hear anymore from you. And what is he doing guitar wise that's especially groundbreaking or
Nothing
good?
really,
No.
nothing.
I mean, is he better than Jimmy Page? No.
No.
Right. The just Clapton? No. um the vast majority of guitarists are on par or better than Neil Young. I think again, he just gets he continues to get praised because of his politics and the fact that he was with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Uh, I just want to address this, Ryan Lopez. So throw out the stupid list or scroll down through it and talk about what's meaningful to you. Well, I mean, part of what I'm doing here is that I think this whole journey started and I started this from like the 500 until now, that I wanted to see what a mainstream kind of publication like Rolling Stone considers the best albums.
Mm.
And it's interesting to be able to not only comment on the things that I like, but in cases where they try to shove their own little agenda in there, it's interesting to see why other artists are being pushed and maybe glazed when they don't need to. I enjoy that aspect of the conversation, so it's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like any top 50 or 100 list of best movies, and it was like, okay, well, if you're putting this list together 20 years ago versus today, it would be very different. Even though most of the things made in the last 20 years should in no way impact that list.
Right, and here's another good example. This is another one that some people like sat there with like blue hair in the writers' room. Some ladies, maybe plus size ladies with blue hair and
Yeah.
nose rings. Put in Erica Badu at 89. Erica Badu is another one of those weird conspiracies that I don't know why they're always shoving this everywhere. Uh, she means nothing to me, absolutely nothing. I wouldn't put her on any list. Like this is this is pure political grandstanding. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what she's doing here. We were talking about real artists, and even some of the bands, even like Bruce Springsteen deserves more of a place to be here. Even Neil Young, which we just threw under the bus,
Yeah. Yeah.
probably has more of a right to be in the conversation here than her. This is just weird shit that doesn't belong here. You know what I mean? But it's like you said, she's very kind of activist, and she's political, and she whines about stuff, and it's all about like certain narratives that they like. That's why they're putting her here.
Hmm.
I would not put this here. Sorry, like I would remove this from the list indefinitely.
Yeah.
88, David Bowie, Hunky Dory. Well, David Bowie is a genius, was a genius, so
Hmm.
can't take that away from him. Which one is Hunky Dory? I mean, I guess
Is
he
this?
does have changes here. There are some good songs here.
Yeah. I mean, it's always hard to to judge Bowie because there's times where I'm like, okay, David, you're getting a little up your own ass. Stop that. Or the I just want to be edgy to be edgy. But even some of the most pretentious things that he's done, there's still a song or two on the album that are good. And and you understand what he's doing. Oh, by the way, also another brilliant businessman. With the reason he was able to own, his own songs and not have a label um, own that is he would set up corporations and raise funds to then fund the production of the album so that it was his, right? And he shared the revenue with whoever invested. Very smart guy. I mean, he brought in like multimedia, very early, and
True.
embraced it. So he's always on the cutting edge. Sometimes though, he got a little full of himself.
That is true. He may have had his strengths and weaknesses, but overall, I think that there's a lot of strengths, and he is a very influential artist. He
Yeah,
deserves to be on, the top 500 for sure.
absolutely.
You know, we could go and argue about spots and albums and things like that, but I think most people, even he has like a million albums, and some of them may be pompous, but overall, I still think that David Bowie is like quality artist.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Miles Davis, Bitches Brew. Miles Davis was the real deal. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't think I think he deserves to be on this list. I
I
don't have
agree. Yeah, I
don't
mean, I can't. You can't argue. Miles Davis doesn't deserve to be. It was like, get out of here if that's your
right.
position.
I mean
However, we are going to see some bullshit that's ahead of Miles Davis and not be happy about that at all.
right, but imagine that just a few we had like Erica Badu like 2 seconds ago, and before
Hmm.
that we had Taylor Swift and like Missy Elliott, and that shows you like they're sitting around. Are there enough women here? Can we put Joni Mitchell? Can we do this? It's like that's not how you do this list. You do the list based on whatever deserves to be here. I
Yeah.
don't like this kind of like you know exactly what they're trying to do here, and I don't like it.
Hmm.
Number
Hmm.
86, The Doors. The Doors. I like The Doors. Where I would put them exactly, I don't know, but I do think they're a quality band.
Yep. I I I mean, again, I appreciate the Doors and I like quite a bit of the songs. I think that they tend to be overrated, but it's not like they're crap and people are glazing them up. I think they're very good, but a lot of people just put them in kind of in the great side. And I was like,
Y-
I don't know if they make
y- you know,
that.
you know what I will give them though is that I think that in the late '60s, they sort of they had their own style. You know what I mean? They did something that's very much their own
Hmm.
signature style, and that is worth something.
Yeah.
And for whatever is happening at the time, I don't think that they sound like 70 other bands. They kind of do their thing and have their own identity. And I think that whatever they did was influential. Maybe in the context of today, if you listen to it, you could, argue certain things. But I've been in situations where I've had like a good amount of drinks and somebody puts on some Doors in the background, and there's a good vibe to it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I like this band. I like Jim Morrison. I like is it Ray Manzarek or whatever on the keyboard. I I I like I like what they do.
Yeah.
Again, we can argue where they need to be on the list or whatever, but this ain't no like Erica Badu. You know what I mean?
No, it is not. No,
This
and
is
I,
a
and I think I mean, the your keyboardist for the
Ray
Doors,
Manzarek.
yeah,
I
he
think that's
doesn't he doesn't get nearly enough credit. There's a reason that a lot of those songs are very distinctive, and it has a lot to do with him.
he's
Um,
brilliant. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, and the thing is that like I wouldn't say that this is how do I explain it? I think that this thing is quality. The quality
hmm,
a lot more than a lot of the other stuff we saw. So that's what I
absolutely.
think. John Lennon.
Oh, speaking of something that shouldn't be above the Doors or other things,
What is it?
this John Lennon.
Well, I mean, I like John Lennon. I'm just trying to see, like, is this his best work?
No.
Let's see for a second. Uh, Working Class Hero is fine. I mean, uh, Mother, that's a decent song. Again, I'm not suggesting that this is his best work, but he is John Lennon at least. You know what I mean? Like he's again not Taylor Swift or something. Like I think he's a legitimate artist. even if it's not necessarily his best work. Maybe they like it because it has the Ono thing in it, so they gave it like they bumped it up. But
No. That's because they've never actually heard her albums. Oof.
right. In any case, I think that there are some things that Lennon did after the Beatles that I did like. I don't know that this is necessarily what I would put on this list and in the place that it is, but John Lennon is John Lennon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. But
AC
I think this particular album is
not
not.
his finest work. It's
Yeah.
not, and I think that in the past they had something else of his that was probably better, and they buried it like in the 200s or 300s. Whereas this one is like probably not his best work, and they bumped it up. 84 AC/DC Back in Black. Is that their first album?
No, Back in Black is after their first singer died, and so
I see.
yeah.
I think that maybe that album is better than. Isn't the first one the best one, or am I wrong?
I don't know about the first. I mean, they have quite a few
Isn't
good albums.
the one prior to this one the best one? But I could be wrong.
I was trying to think. I'm trying to think of the order. Yeesh.
I'm not a huge AC/DC expert, but ever since Robot Head has been talking about it, I've paid a little more attention. Listen, it has Back in Black. That itself is like a iconic song. You shook me all night long. This is a good album. Let's put it this
Oh,
way.
it is. Yeah. I mean, you've given the dog a bone, all that stuff, but I'm much more of a Bon Scott fan than I am Brian Johnson. So give me some of the earlier stuff. Long Way to the Top. If you want to rock and roll, is
Oh yeah, that one's a good one.
yeah, and again, I mean, any hard rock song that can also incorporate the bagpipes, let's go, right? That's pretty good. But Back in Black has a ton of good songs on it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of
Dirty
the day,
Deeds, I think, would be better than for me than Back in Black.
I see. Well, I'm not like an expert in AC/DC, but I will say this: they're an iconic band. They're influential and they're important. I figure they probably need to be, on the list. It's not that like you see them on a list of top albums and you're like, oh, these guys are crap. Like they're legitimate. I don't have any issue with them in general being here. Again, we could choose different albums and put them in different places.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
Number 80.
Hosty bringing up one of my favorite AC/DC songs, "Whole Lot of Rosie."
I'm not
Yeah.
sure I know that one.
Well, I mean, look, they were demonstrating they were body positive in that song. If you listen to it,
They were.
yes, oh yeah, yeah, they were very much about body positivity. Yeah,
I'll listen to it sometime.
her measurements were 42, 39, 56.
And I get it. I understand now. Yeah, that's what body positivity used to
Mm-hmm.
mean.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this: Dusty Springfield. I may surprise you and tell you that I actually think she's fine. I don't have any issue with her. I think she's a good, female singer,
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of classic, iconic. With that being said, is she number 83? I don't think so. Meaning,
No.
like, if you told me, like, oh, do you think Erica Badu, like, in comparison to Erica Badu or Taylor Swift, I rate Dusty Springfield above that. I like she has more standing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, is she number 83 when we had such legends here before? I probably wouldn't put her here.
No.
This is another one of those situations where some guy with a suit walked into the room and said, is there a lady? Do we got enough ladies on this list?
I mean, Dusty Springfield was. I mean, she was kind of a throwback kind of singer. The kind of a lot of her songs were like the old Torch style. And she had.
I only want to be with you.
Yeah, not so much that, but son of a preacher man.
Was the son of a preacher.
Yeah, and
The only one who could ever reach her was the son of a preacher man. That one, right?
yeah. I mean that one's that got some smoke, right? And
that was good. Yeah.
And there was always kind of her. Yeah, she did some pop stuff, but her natural, the song, most of the songs she was doing were very Torch, like in a time where we were having hippies strumming acoustic guitars, and nobody wants that.
Yep. So 83, I wouldn't put her here, but whatever. Sly and the Family Stone.
Oh, here we go.
All right. I'm trying to think. Sly and the Family Stone. What do you think of this?
I'm a big fan of Sly and the Family Stone. This is their second album, I think.
There was another one on the list earlier, and I was just, it's a band like I needed to remind me some of their like songs because like I know them, but
Everyday
what's their
People.
Everyday People. It's okay. Like
Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself.
Everyday People. Something
Dun,
something
dun,
I don't know, something
so on and so forth.
I feel like I need to do some listening to Sly and the Family Stone. It's something that like I know what it is and I know that it's supposed to be good, but somehow when I think about like songs with exception of maybe Everyday People that I know exactly which song you mean, kind of blanking out on it.
Yeah, it's a thank you for letting me be myself again. That's Sly as well. I mean, Sly was. I mean, he's a very interesting character. He's out of the Bay Area, and so a lot of the songs. Again, these are songs where it's not angry protest kind of stuff. He's trying to kind of bring people together at a time where things are very much being torn apart. And so a lot of the songs kind of go around that, but it doesn't shy away from some of the problems that are going on at the time, right? It's like, I mean, it's much like what we were talking about with rap earlier, that the best part was when they had a sincerity about what was actually going on in their experiences.
Absolutely. Since I know also your time is valuable and you're very sleepy, do you think maybe we go to 75 and then we can?
Yeah.
Is that a good place? Okay.
Yeah, I think I make it. Yeah.
81, Beyonce. You can get rid of this right now. Like we just went through some like classic albums where we were nitpicking and thinking, should it even be here? Should we move it a few forward, a few backwards? And now we got like Beyonce. Come on.
Hell no. Get it out of here.
It's like, listen, I'll tell you this. She can obviously sing, she's talented, and she can perform and whatever it is. But and I've said this before, and I think maybe another one of her albums came up here. When it comes to her catalog of music, when I think of like important iconic songs, what does she have? Halo, All the Single Ladies. What is it that she has that like you think Beyonce and you're just thinking of these like important songs and really they're not important, those songs. They're not. They're songs of their moment that appealed mainly to like a female audience. And again, all these years where you have these Taylor Swifts and Beyoncés were years that they sidelined all the men, killed rock and roll, put it like in a basement somewhere, and just kept promoting this like bubble. I don't want to say bubble gum, but you know what I mean. This corporate. In some cases, corporate slop.
Yeah, it's a manufactured product.
She has 20 producers with her there. She's a good performer. She does whatever she needs to do. I'm not going to say she doesn't know how to do anything, but this is not where she belongs on this list, if at all. No. 80, the Sex Pistols. Never mind the Bullocks. Here's the Sex Pistols.
Here we go.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I've never been the biggest Sex Pistols fan. I understand that they had a sort of fuck you attitude and they did their whole punk rock thing. But for me, when I think of punk rock, I think of the Ramones. Sex Pistols were like, oh, look how like we're so in your face and all the middle finger and whatever. Almost like, I know this is going to sound controversial, almost like they're trying too hard for me, in my opinion.
I think so unlike some punk or at least wannabe punks who very much were doing the try hard I'm angry or whatever, I think the Pistols were actually that way. I mean, there's a reason this band implodes after one album, right?
I mean, they were crazy, at least, to be fair, but
and Johnny Rotten, later John Lydon, is his actual name. He continued to to be involved in a lot of kind of good stuff. I mean, Public Image Limited had a number of good songs that came out, and he was, that was his post punk work, and he stayed relevant for quite a while. I mean, the other band members not so much. But yeah, I mean, there's a
One of
certain,
them also is no longer with us because some strange things happened there,
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
recreational activities and other strange surprises.
yeah, and he wasn't even really a band member technically because um, often they unplugged his bass, and the guitarist actually played his bass notes because he couldn't play, and he was usually either stoned out
Right,
of
he
his
was then
mind or drunk or whatever.
compromised. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but he looked good, so they had him on stage, but I think Anarchy in the UK is a great song. It was promoted very much in your face. I mean, the marketing guy was going a little over the top. When they have him on a boat, going by I think it was the 50th anniversary of Elizabeth being in charge, um, the Queen there, and they were banned from the BBC radio, and so they get on a boat and play that while the festivities are going on. That's a bit in your face, but
I
I
mean,
think they were very influential, and I think there's some really good songs in there and they're kind of letting out their angst in their lower class Brits who are in a Britain in the 70s isn't exactly a
right, they had a lot of issues
wonderful
there,
place.
and I know that they were, like, speaking to a young generation, and I understand that they mattered and all that stuff, and they
Yeah,
were influential. With all that being said, do I like them here on number 80 on this list? I don't know that I would put them here. I think that they're valuable, but when we're thinking of the best albums of all time, I still don't think that I would put
yeah.
this
I
where
mean,
it's at.
I could certainly think of 100 albums that would be ahead of this.
Right.
But I do agree with the Sex Pistols being ahead of Beyonce.
Yes, that there's no doubt about that. That's
There.
this at least like I said, these are the type of things that we can have a conversation about where we would put them and how we feel and what their influence is or how much they are influential, but it's not like a Beyonce or Erykah Badu situation. Or
Mhm.
now we're in number 79, Frank Ocean, Blonde. Like,
What?
excuse me, this deserves this is not where you put this. I don't think this is in the top 500. I don't think this is anything. You know what I mean? Uh,
I'm just reading like their review, and it is so over the top gushing that it's embarrassing to read. The
super
songs are
embarrassing.
so nakedly intimate. I was like,
Yeah.
What?"
This is another one of those political things that they're like, we have to put this guy here in 79, but it's not really what you put here.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, Elvis Presley, The Sun Session. Listen, Elvis Presley is an important artist. Do I know that this is what I would put? This album specifically, I don't know, but do I think that Elvis is like worthy of being on a list of like great, albums? I'm sure something he did deserves to be somewhere.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I'm
I
trying
think
to.
so.
Sorry, go
This
on.
one it looks like does it have "That's All Right" on it?
That's all
Um,
right,
Mama,
baby.
that's all right. Babe. Yeah, I'm not sure what else is on this one.
That's
Um,
what I'm saying. That like sometimes they have a random thing that they just throw in there. It's like, yeah, he's Elvis, but it's like what you felt about the John Lennon one. Yeah, he's
yeah,
John Lennon, but why don't you find maybe his best work to put
yeah,
in here?
yeah.
The
Oh, here we
Who's
go.
next? This one has Bob O'Reilly.
Won't get fooled again.
Okay, I mean, nobody can argue that the Who isn't influential or that they don't deserve to be on a list like this. Again, we can nitpick where and why and how and whatever, but the Who, especially during those years, this is like this is
Yeah,
groundbreaking stuff.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have Pete Townsend that's really getting into synthesizers
Right?
at this point, right? And so he's doing both guitar and the synths and really coming up with some complex arrangements. And given this 1971, um, it's not like you're working with a Yamaha CS80 or something. I mean, these are,
No,
you might have, God, I think it's maybe before the Mini Moog. So
really primitive stuff, and you know
yeah.
what? This is ahead of its time. Like
Oh
this,
yeah.
the at this moment in time, they are way ahead of their time, doing things. And the cool thing is, maybe you could say, well, it's dated for whenever that was, but the thing is that these songs are still staples until today. Meaning, even though this came out so long ago, there's still like iconic songs that you'll hear today. Even younger generations know them,
Oh
and I
yeah.
feel like, it says a lot about how they were ahead of their time, but somehow they're timeless classics as well. Obviously, they deserve to be on a good list. I again, we can nitpick where and why and how, but the Who and this album specifically is worthy.
Absolutely.
Curtis Mayfield, Superfly.
Superfly. Yeah,
I mean,
Pusher Man's on this one.
it
So
sounds good. Would I put it here though? Is this where I would put
yeah,
it?
I don't know. I think this is more. Well, it was iconic in the black community at this time with black exploitation. It's like, all right, calm down. I'm not putting Isaac Hayes in the top 100.
I do like
Albums of
Isaac
all
Hayes
time.
though. I think he
I
was
do.
very talented. I just
Yeah,
and if we're talking about the top 500, certainly, these things could be in that conversation. But when we're doing the top 100 and with the kind of artists we were talking about now, I don't know where this came from. This is again one of those kind of out of left field things.
yeah, yeah,
Number 75, Aretha Franklin, Lady Soul. Aretha Franklin was pretty amazing. I can't really say that she doesn't belong on a list of like greats, because she was a great.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have Natural Woman in this one. Um, the Aretha. I mean, it is so crazy that the situation she was in with her husband at the time, who was so controlling, and um, she was concerned about performing live because she was self conscious. Um, which, I mean, you hear her voice and you're like, what? How could you ever be self conscious with that voice? Uh, and just, I it is it is amazing to me, kind of the stories of some of these artists, and what they go through. Um,
Maybe that's why you also have this very unique character when she sings. Maybe that's why their things are so authentic, that
yeah,
some of these people actually had difficult lives or difficult backgrounds, but when they sang, something shined through. And
yeah,
I feel like, Aretha Franklin, when you think of some of the top, amongst the top female vocalists of all time, since the era of like, music being recorded, I think that Aretha Franklin, you know, it's one of those kind of once in a generation voices. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's really, really something special.
yeah,
So I would absolutely put her on a list, and I think she deserves a good place on it. Again, is this the album? Is this the thing? I don't know. We'd have to nitpick more, but
yeah,
at least it's not embarrassing. It's not Taylor Swift or like
yeah.
Frank
Beyonce.
Ocean or whatever it was. But now we're at 75, and I know you wanted to go to sleep, and you were miserable that
We
you.
we can make 70. I think we can
We can
probably
make
do.
70.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can
I've
do.
twisted his arm, and
Oh
he
my
do.
God, he's pulling me in.
I'm pulling just when you thought you were out.
That's right. Oh
Number
shit! I should have
74.
left.
The college dropout.
I
I
should
think.
have left. Damn it.
Listen again. First of all, obviously the guy has some weird mental issues today and stuff like that. And I also would say that beyond his mental issues, I think that for a good amount of years he hasn't made music that's all that relevant or great to begin with. But these earlier albums of his, I don't think they're as great as people say or he thinks they are. But if you're into that sort of style, I'm not saying it's bad. Would I put it at 74 when we just talked about like Aretha Franklin? No way.
No,
No
no,
way. You
no.
know, I think that people give him more credit than he probably deserves. I'm not saying he's complete garbage as a rap producer or anything like that. I'm just saying that like I think that people glaze this guy too much. He built this whole thing around how keeps saying what a great genius he is, but honestly, I don't think he's as great as he thinks he is.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think the some of the hype comes from how he came up in kind of his history. I mean, he's a pretty young kid. Kind of was like 19 when he was when he was doing stuff for Jay-Z. And it was, just a kid that was playing around with grooves and beats and all that. And so he was certainly like young, talented, that to a level that most 19-year-olds don't have.
Right.
And wasn't coming out Juilliard or something like that, right? I mean, he didn't have the background and advantages that you would imagine. And he breaks through and gets his own albums and puts them out, and they're hits. I think it's kind of his age at that time is why everybody's talking about his genius. The problem is I don't think he keeps going, right? He just kind of, okay, you hit your high, you were hungry, you got in, and now it kind of levels off. And so when people talking about, oh, he's a genius, and like, he was, I don't know about now.
Yeah, I mean, like I give him some credit that he was good at doing some stuff and good rap producer, but I've always felt that he's overglazed, and anything that's been in the past like 10, 15 years that he made, I don't even think is all that, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh Number 73, My Bloody Valentine, Loveless. Again, I don't really know, what this whole My Bloody Valentine. I've heard this before, but is this something that I would put 73 after all the great legends we spoke about?
No, I mean, the shoegaze stuff never
Yeah, I
really hit
mean,
with me anyway.
this is some weird shit between you and me. I mean, it's fine somewhere, but it's not 73 on this list.
No, no. I mean, it would be on like the top 500 alternative college station bands. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that one.
Right. Now we're at 72 and we have Neil Young,
Oh
Harvest.
God,
Again, why do they keep shoving Neil Young into this? Like, I feel like I've seen him on this list way too many times. It's not, they're overglazing. This is
yeah,
an overglazing situation. I'm not saying that everything he did was bad, but come on, man.
yeah, yeah. It's just the oh my God, it's Neil Young. We have all agreed he's a genius, and I was like, have we? I don't remember being consulted.
I am with you 100%. He's overrated. Next, we have Beyonce Renaissance from 2022. Come on. Stop this shit already.
Okay,
Stop it.
well, now let's just take a moment. That album cover would convince me to put her somewhere.
Well, perhaps it's not the worst album cover, but
No,
aside from that,
I'm not sure
I
about the contents of the album, but that cover
at least
is
the
getting my
cover, yes,
yeah,
at
yeah,
least that.
yeah.
No, I mean, she looks fine, but it's not that's not what we're giving, putting on a list here.
No.
It says sampled voices, esteemed guest. I didn't even know Jones was on this album.
No, yeah.
I did meet Grace Jones once, but
Oh my god. Now, I know damn well you didn't scare Grace Jones.
no, I didn't scare her.
No.
But there was something interesting that I shouldn't say this, but I think I've said it before, so fuck it, I'll just say it. Uh, I briefly talked to her, and she said something like, "You're a gazer," and I said, "Excuse me," and she said, "When you look at people, you stare directly into their soul."
Yeah, that sounds like something Grace Jones would say.
And I said, "Well, it was a pleasure meeting you."
Exactly.
I'm like, "I better get out of here."
Exactly. Have you ever seen the
But
movie Boomerang?
yes, I thought of that movie at that moment.
Exactly. You're like, "Please, dear God, don't let her decide Stranger is gonna"
Yeah, I was thinking of Strange at that moment, I'm not gonna lie to you. Number 70, NWA, Straight Outta Compton. That is a good album.
It
Do
is.
I put this before like Led Zeppelins and all these like classic stuff? I don't know where I'd put it, but at least if you're going to include the genre of like rap, hip hop, like in this list, they certainly deserve their spot here. Meaning this is a good album, no
Yeah,
doubt about it.
yeah,
I don't have any issue if we're zooming out and looking like the top 500 albums. I'm 100% fine with having this album amongst the top 500 ever made. Do I put it in 70? That's a different conversation. But at least it's not something that I look at it and think, "Oh, this is shit." I
yeah.
wouldn't say that.
I'm gonna definitely put it above Beyonce and
Right. Totally better than like Beyonce.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, So I guess, oh, you want to go to sleep. So this is at 70, right?
Mm. Well, I'm terrified of what would be next.
Well, I'll scroll. The next one is
Oh,
69,
Jesus, God
Alanis
help
Morissette, Jagged
oh,
Little.
God. I
You know,
fucked up. I fucked up. I should have left at 70. Damn it.
I'm gonna surprise you here and tell you that I actually don't dislike her or this album. I don't think that it's a top 100 album. I don't think that it's like the number 69 when we were looking at some of those other albums we were talking about. I don't, you know, I don't hate Alanis Morissette. I just don't think that this is where I would put her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, again, she's pretty young when this came out, but she'd been on, was it You Can't Do That on Television?
Like, you can't do that on television.
Yeah.
To go from that and sort of, like, do this album, I thought it was pretty cool, and, like, she did have a very strong voice for this kind of style, you know what I mean? Like, she also had a few good producers. You had, like, people like Flea and Dave Navarro stopping by and playing some of the instruments here and there. She had a lot of stuff going for her, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I think that her voice did carry it did have character, it was something interesting, and she would write music, and I can't take that away from her. Now,
Yeah.
again, do I put this like in this place on the list versus some of the great things that we've been talking about? Not by a long shot. But if we're doing like top 500 albums, and you said that like somewhere between like 400 and 500, you know what I mean? Like if you put
Yeah.
her much later in the list and you said you think this is a decent album to put here, I wouldn't hate it. It's just that I wouldn't put it here. It's like this is overglazing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think, yeah, again, if we were looking at 500, sure, because I mean, it was influential, unfortunately, because this this hits an era of the 90s that made me want to put corkscrews in my ears, because that whiny uh, female, with the warble, or it was very alternative, college radio stuff in the 90s, and somehow went into the mainstream. And I was like, please send that back to the college radio stations. I don't want to hear this anymore.
I understand. It was certainly an overplayed album, but I still, if I have to, as a musician, when I look at it, I can't not appreciate it. It's not garbage to my ears. Like
No.
you could say it was overplayed, she was overexposed, it was a bit of its time, too many whiny ladies, whatever. I can understand every single thing you're saying, but if I take a step back and just judge it by its merits, I think she did a good job on this album, and I can't take that away from her, even if I think this is overglazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I Lois is saying, "This is over Aretha, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
exactly. This is like that's embarrassing that Aretha Franklin would be like significantly lower than this. Kate Bush, Hounds of Love. Ah, Kate Bush, I'll tell you this. This has Running Up That Hill.
mhm,
Kate Bush is a talented artist. I'm not going to say that she's not a talented artist, but she is sort of like a niche acquired taste situation that it took me many years even to get used to some of whatever she does. It hasn't always really spoken to me. It's not 100% what I like, but I do appreciate that she is like a decent artist and she has her own style and does whatever she does. Do I put this at 68? No. Do I think that Kate Bush is like a decent artist? Sure, but I wouldn't put her here.
yeah, yeah, I'd agree. I mean, Kate Bush is like, the the musical equivalent of people who only go to film festivals and watch, French experimental stuff, right?
Right.
Wuthering Heights, that is painful to listen to, because
Right, right,
she's
there's a
just
little
going
bit of this,
crazy.
like
But this album, again, she bought, one of the first Fairlight synthesizers, which were samplers,
right,
and worked with this quite a bit, and got these sounds out. And like Running Up That Hill, despite Stranger Things trying to ruin it for everybody,
right,
is a great song. And I think she's a very gifted artist, but it's kind of like jazz, where she's making it for other musicians and or herself.
right.
And if an audience finds it, okay, but she's much more. I mean, it's almost like masturbatory with some of the stuff. that
I
she's
tend
making.
to agree. But still, if I had to do the top 500 and she appeared on the top 500, I don't think that would be like unreasonable.
No,
But, but when we're looking at the type of legends and whatever, again, I don't think I'd put her here, but I don't dislike her. It's just that, I think you gave a really good summary of the situation. Number 67, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. I don't think I'd put him here.
no.
We've gone through some real legends here.
Yeah,
He
I'm sorry. He's ahead of Straight Outta Compton.
also
Get
very
out of here.
strange. Yeah. And it's like, I understand that he has the song "Ain't No N Word," and I'm
Mhm,
sure that
mhm.
it's a very popular song, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't put this here. This is all weird political stuff. You know what I mean? They're like,
Yeah.
let's put Kate Bush because let's
Mhm.
put this because of this. Like, this is not really them being fair.
I'll guarantee you that if Stranger Things hadn't come out, Kate Bush wouldn't be this high.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And then you have John Coltrane, "A Love Supreme." John Coltrane, again, that's a guy that deserves to be on a list. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's not nobody can argue that that's like real talent.
Yeah.
Do I know
Yeah,
this album and all that stuff? I don't know, but
no. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's John Coltrane is in, the top 100, of course. Which
right.
album? I don't know. We're gonna have to get more picky with that one, but
Right. I mean, I think that somewhere in like the 200s or 300s, his name popped up once, and I said the same thing. Like, yeah, I mean, I'd love to sit and listen to this album, whatever it is, and see where it needs to be. But obviously, John Coltrane is the real deal. That's not like some bum.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
agreed on that. James Brown live at the Apollo again. James Brown, legitimate artist. He's not like a bum either.
No.
So,
I don't know if this would be the album that I would choose.
right.
But James Brown being up here, I have no problem with.
Right. I mean, what they do is that sometimes they're just like live concert, live this, live that. It's like I'd rather actually have his studio albums. Like him performing live, he's basically performing some studio album stuff, only he's performing it live. I kind of I would have preferred if this list stuck to like studio albums. You got what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some that the live is kind of what you do. I mean, you always think of live at the Budokan, with "I Want You to Want Me," Cheap Trick. That they didn't do a better version on an album. That one's the reason that they get noticed, right? And
Right.
so there's certain things that I could go, yeah, yeah, the live works for this. I don't know about James Brown though. James Brown has a ton of great studio albums.
Absolutely. Uh we'll go to 60 and we'll stop.
Oh, Jesus wept. Outcast.
64 Outcast. I wouldn't put that here.
Mm-mm.
Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Outkast, and specifically, like I'll even say that I've back in the day done even some. I don't know if to say work. It's hard for me to explain because it has to do with stuff that I used to do. But I've met and even did some kind of work with Big Boy. I rather like the guy, and I don't like. I've seen him also perform and do stuff. You know, I think he's pretty cool. I still wouldn't put this at 64. You know what I
No.
mean? Like I don't think that they're crap. I just wouldn't put them here. This is like if you put it much later on the list,
Yeah. Yeah.
next to Alanis Morissette in the 400 to 500
Yeah.
range or something.
464, I'll accept.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we're now in 64, which is why this couldn't be here, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So yeah, that was a weird thing. Steely Dan. I mean, Steely Dan is a quality band, okay?
They are.
They are a quality band, but there's something about them that's always felt kind of like safe, a little bit
Yes.
like vanilla, like cool yet vanilla, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They're like the cooler version of yacht rock, right?
Something like that. Eh,
It's almost like an easy listening feel, but occasionally they get funky or rock it up, and you're like, okay, I guess, okay, yeah. I thought I was listening to elevator music there for a minute, but then you suddenly throw that in there, and now you have me. But yeah, this is not a boy. I'm going to listen to this to get amped up. No, nobody ever does that with Steely Dan.
No, and that's the problem I have. It's like I appreciate them, but again, do I put them at 63? No. This is
Mm-mm.
another one of those like something in the like, 300s or whatever you put it there, I'd say like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. But at 63 I wouldn't put them.
No.
'62, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. Now, I think this is a good album. Not only do I think this is a good album, I think this is Guns N' Roses' best album.
It is.
And I think that when it came out, it was sort of like a breath of fresh air because we were getting so much of these synthesizers and whatever. This band coming out with a debut album like this was like a really big deal. Or actually, they had the other one, Lies, or whatever it was called. I don't know if they released Lies after they released this one.
Yeah,
This one,
GNR Lies was after this.
right?
It was only what, like 4 or 5 tracks.
I had them both. I had this
Yeah,
one and this one, and
so
this for me though was like really. It seemed like it was a game changer. I'll give them that.
yes.
The only thing I'll say is that the success from this album went to their head so quickly that
Oh
as
god,
much
Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Ooh, there's a lot of crap and then a few good songs on a
right.
double album. Get out of here.
They basically somehow only became like a diminishing return after this, meaning, and they didn't even have many albums afterwards. What did they have? Use User Illusion one and
1
two,
and 2.
and then like the Spaghetti Incident or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
uh, Diminishing returns, and it's sad because this needed to be like the opening album of a band that would then release like 5 more albums of this caliber. I don't think we ever got that, and that's why people that are always like, putting Guns N' Roses on a pedestal, I have the respect for them. I really like this album, and I saw them during this era live as a kid, and it was fantastic, and like I have a lot of good memories, and I like them. But I have to be honest that like their legacy as a band, if you really zoom out and look at everything beyond this album, most of it is a lot less than this. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I mean,
But
well, the if you look at, like, the time that this comes out, we've got hair metal, a bunch of glam rock, type stuff, and yeah, I have a lot of sense and all this, but this one comes out and it is not only, musically better than the contemporaries, but also kind of the grittiness of being in the rock scene in LA at that time, right? I mean, there's a lot of Mr. Brownstone is about heroin. You have Night Train, which is a cheap fortified wine that winos drink. There are besides like the 3 songs that always got played on the radio, there are some really good songs on the album that could not be played on the radio because of either the subject matter or the language that's used.
right,
And they were properly edgy, right? Like, I mean,
right.
there was a hard edge to what they were doing.
You
The
felt a
problem
little badass listening
Oh
to their
yeah,
album.
yeah, and kind of grimy, right? In
Yeah.
some of those things, right? I mean, "Anything Goes" is quite the song. Probably not going to sing those lyrics on YouTube, uh, but but the kind of tawdry aspects of it wasn't the celebrating success and all that stuff, right? It was very much kind of the tawdry life that they had to lead trying to break through. And then Lies is just other songs that they had done that didn't make
Didn't
Appetite.
make the cut, yeah.
Right, right.
Still, probably those 2 albums are like, even Lies is probably better than anything that came out afterwards.
Oh
Because you
yeah,
have, like, Patience and stuff like that.
yeah.
There's some
Used to
cool
love her,
stuff
but
there.
I had to kill her. That was my favorite song off of Lies. That may have been because I was in the middle of a breakup when it came out, so I was good with that one, right?
You could relate to it. So
Exactly.
so 62, listen, I don't know that I put this in 62. It is a really good album. If you told me that we're looking at the hundreds of albums of, like, best albums, it could be somewhere good. It's a good album, but do I think it's 62 when we talked about some of these other legends? It's not better than these kind of Led Zeppelin stuff. I still I think it's good, but I don't think, I think we also have to be fair where we put it, even
Yeah,
though I like it.
yeah.
Uh
Oh, Dead Man mentioning 1 in a million. Yeah, you're not singing those lyrics, today.
Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. Again, this is like early, hip hop or whatever it is. I'm not dismissing that, but would anybody put this at 61 with the type of music we've been discussing? Not even for the genre of hip hop, not even for anything. This isn't like NWA Straight Outta Compton. I think that this is,
Yeah, this is what, like 13 or 14 places ahead of Straight Outta Compton? That's madness.
this would be like, again, when we were talking about pushing stuff to like the 400s or whatever it is, like you, you could throw that somewhere else, but I wouldn't put that here.
No.
And then we're at 60. Van Morrison Astro Weeks. The funny thing is, I can't remember anything Van Morrison sings. I feel like this has always been another conspiracy theory, like conspiracy that people are always like, "Oh, Van Morrison." I can't even remember. What does he give me one
So
thing that
Brown
Van
Eyed
Morrison even
Girl,
does?
Moondance. Do you remember these songs?
Not really Moondance. I'm gonna
But
Google.
it's a wonderful night for a moon dance with the stars go out of the sea.
Okay, let me listen to it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yep.
know what it is. I wouldn't put this where it's at. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, I don't know. It's not that good. Like, we went through
No.
some real stuff here. This didn't make like a dent. You know what I mean? Like to put this above some of these other things we went through, some of the classic ones that we agreed were classic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put this here. I don't. I'm sorry.
No, I think again, Van Morrison was kind of a bizarre, uh, Brit. God, I'm trying to think. Was he Welsh or something like that? But he's got he has this very bluesy voice, um, and has an appreciation for the blues. But he's also like mixing some newer stuff in. But it's very. I think even at the time it would have been other than maybe Brown Eyed Girl, which pops off, but other things are more they're like alternative, um, like the kind of troubadour, um, you know, genre that was big in the 60s and 70s. That's kind of where he sits, and no, I wouldn't put him this high. Although I love Van Morrison. I mean, he's a hell of a singer, and man, he's got some passion when he sings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike him, but I just think that it's too much. But we reached 60,
All
and
right,
that
let's
was
see if
our
we can go
goal.
50. Come on, let's do it. All right.
Let's do it. We're going
God, I hate
50,
you. God, you pulled me in. Oh, jeez. Now.
59. Stevie
Oh,
Wonder, Talking Book.
okay. Superstition. Yes, have
Yes.
some.
Yeah,
That song rocks today.
I will say this: Stevie Wonder is such a brilliant genius. Like
Yes.
I think that th there's no reason not to include him in a good spot on a list like this. Again, we could go over with his different albums and where you put what or whatever it is, but Stevie Wonder is the real deal. I
Mhm.
consider him like real talent, the kind that like we don't get anymore. We don't see stuff like this anymore.
No, no. Again, I mean, he starts out as a kid. He's obviously blind, but he very much gets into synthesizers and just becomes a maestro at him. He's making him do things that even the manufacturers are like, wait, what? How's that? How did you do that? Okay, let's look at that. He was always experimenting and changing up. Songs would have different styles within the same album. I mean, like radically different styles, because he was always experimenting. But yeah, great artist. He deserves to be up here. And yeah, if there's any song of Stevie Wonder's that I'm gonna put high, it's gonna be Superstition.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But generally speaking, even if you pull one of those like songs in the key of life or whatever, this guy is the real deal. Like Stevie
Mhm.
Wonder is real talent, in my opinion.
Yep.
So I have no issue. I don't think it's an overglazing situation. Like I think
Mhm.
he's legitimate talent, belongs on a list.
Oh, here we
Uh,
go.
oh,
Zep
this is the one that I
4.
told you I like to listen to,
Yeah. Zep
and
4.
it probably was my first Led Zeppelin album, but I did have those other ones as well. At least I had two. I'm sure I had two.
Yeah.
Maybe another one, but uh,
Now this does have the one song that is if I hear it, I want to shoot someone. It's "Stairway to Heaven."
I mean,
Um,
here's the thing. I think it's a great song, but the problem is sometimes you have a song that's just been so overplayed
yes,
that you can't just listen to it anymore. I think that joke in Wayne's World where somebody tries to play that in the store and everybody gets like there's a sign that they don't allow it, is funny because I think that that's what has become of the song. But
it's also true. I mean, in the '80s, when I went into guitar stores, there were signs that said "No Stairway." They were
I
they
can
it was bad, but the great thing about "Stairway" is if you heard it on the radio, you knew the DJ had to go to the bathroom.
That's
That was
funny.
just the default thing that you played when you needed to go to the bathroom. "Okay, Stairway, I got time."
I mean, I still think that, like, you know, especially if I don't hear it for a very long time, which I don't, because I don't, like, elect to listen to it, and then after a long time that I didn't hear it, I listened to it, it's hard not to appreciate, like, you know, it's a very well put together song, and
Yeah.
especially, like, those parts especially if you get to, like, the last few minutes of the song, the part where, like, Jimmy Page is doing his solos and stuff like
Mhm.
that, I still like that, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to get through the whole thing and whatever. It's really hard. Like, if you now told me that I had to listen to it, I'd probably move it towards the end.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you have, when the levee breaks, off of this was man, that is Bonzo is just going crazy on the drums, right?
Yeah.
And that I think that was the one that they recorded him, in a hallway, in a house that they had
Ah,
set up so that they could get the reverb, kind of that echoing sound
it does
from
sound
his
really good,
drums. Yeah.
but most of his time, his drums sounded great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a fantastic drummer. Yeah, Black Dog, Rock and Roll, that's these just absolute classics.
Definitely deserves to be, like, on a list. It's good. We can argue which one where, but it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, the band, weren't didn't we already do this weird band thing already?
Yeah, yeah, the band, yeah, I'm surprised that they're having 2 of them,
That's what I'm saying, like, this after we went through, like, some legends here, you shoved the band in here, like,
yeah,
twice?
yep.
I don't get it, why are they putting this sometimes I don't get what their agenda is, why are you so eager to put this here? What is
Well,
it?
it's everybody's agreed that they're great, and so you have
Ah,
to include them, even though I'm sure that whoever put this list together hasn't actually listened to much of the band. Now, Levon Helm, who was a drummer and singer, had acting career as well. Have you ever seen The Right Stuff?
yes, I did.
So the guy that Jaeger's always asking for a stick of Beeman's gum, that's Levon Helm.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yep. And he set up a big music festival in back in his hometown in Arkansas for like bluegrass stuff, trying to preserve the local music.
I didn't know any of this.
Yep. Lee Helm, the real deal. He just died. God, it was maybe 10 years ago.
It's still overglazed, I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure they're fine, but it's overglazed.
Oh
This I don't even
God,
know.
what the
What's this?
Liz Fair?
Exile and Guyville? What the fuck is this? What is this? Sorry, Sean, what is this?
Liz Fair is angry lesbian alternative college radio stuff.
This is such a disgrace. This is an absolute disgrace. Honestly, I know a lot of music, and I can't even think of one song. I I'm trying to. It's like I'm blanking out here. I don't even know what this is. I wouldn't put it in 56.
No, but this is the kind of thing that I always kind of lump in with Alanis Morissette and
Alanis,
Liz
though, is
Fair.
better than this. I don't know what to tell you. This means nothing to me. At least Alanis, I can say that like she did something. I mean, I she wasn't. I don't know. I if I have to choose between Liz Fair and Alanis, I'm taking Alanis.
Yeah, so the sad thing is a lot of like '90s women singers were very much inspired by Liz Fair, which tells you why I hated '90s women
I see.
singers.
She means nothing to me. I'm kicking her off this list. This is nothing. 55, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
All
Okay,
right.
well,
Yeah.
that is a classic album. I
Yes.
would maybe argue, you know, we'd have to think about a lot of different things, but this could even deserve a better place than it got. because
Mhm.
it is such an iconic album.
Yeah.
I say this, these days when I think of Roger Waters, I only think negative things. I think the guy has gone off the deep end and he's pretty much intolerable. But I will recognize that during the time of the Dark Side of the Moon, uh, they still functioned like a real band, and what
Yeah.
they did with this album is very special. Uh,
Mhm.
for me, always Pink Floyd, the stuff that I like the most is like Gilmore's guitar and Gilmore's singing and things like that.
Yeah.
But I can't argue that during these times, like Roger Waters, had some good ideas as well, and he wasn't a weirdo, old, bitter man like he is now.
Yeah, I mean, he was still a weirdo at this time, but I
But I
think it
guess it
was
didn't hurt the music somehow.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they were still able to kind of work things out, compromise. And I guess as they got more and more successful, Rogers' head just kept inflating, and then finally they'd had enough.
I can completely understand them. I mean, they had reached a point where they had such a great catalog that they probably just said, like, "Fuck it. If he's not here, we'll bring another bass player,
Yeah.
and we'll just perform all of our great songs, and everybody's gonna love it." And they probably even said most people don't even know band members and stuff. They go to a Pink Floyd show. You have the guy that sings most of the songs singing. You have and he's playing the guitar, and you like that guitar sound, and he's playing the guitar, and most people aren't going to care. And that was a good gamble. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Yep. And I think he sued them trying to stop them from using the name Pink Floyd, but they ended up losing.
He
I
lost.
actually have a Roger Waters after the breakup did album Radio Chaos. Um,
Yes, I had hitchhiking something. There was something like a hitchhike. There was like Amused to Death, I think, and something
mm,
about like hitchhikers, not Guide to the Galaxy, but something like he had 3 albums, and I think I had 2 of them. I don't
mm,
know if I had Radio Chaos, but I had the other 2.
yeah.
And
Well, I didn't have the other two, so I just had
oh, so
Radio Chaos.
together we can complete like his collection.
Yeah, we had
But
the complete Roger Waters.
I had the other 2 and I was super disappointed with them. It was clear basically what his albums proved is that, if you didn't realize how important David Gilmour is in Pink Floyd, once Roger Waters goes and does his own stuff, like, by himself, you're like, "Ah, I get it now." You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Because he obviously is a guy that has some interesting ideas, but without, like, David Gilmour, who functions as half of a musical producer in your
Hmm.
own band, without that there, and bringing it to life, it just doesn't sound the same. And
Yeah.
I'll
Uh,
say another thing that I learned over the years. There was this myth that from time to time I would say, well, Roger Waters may have been like a jerk, but like listen on the song "Hey You," his like fretless bass. Listen how great he is. You know what? It turns out a lot of the songs, including that fretless bass, it actually like when he wasn't looking, apparently David Gilmour grabbed the bass and played it himself
mhm, mhm.
because
Yep,
he just couldn't do it. You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep.
That's the rumor. I mean, that's I've heard this over and over again over the past, several years that there's tracks that like are, he's credited, but it actually was like Gilmore kind of covering for him.
So you're saying that Roger Waters is the Sid Vicious of Pink Floyd?
He is somehow listen, I'm sure that in some cases he actually, did play the bass, but I think that in some cases where it sounds really fancy, it's very much a Sid Vicious type of situation.
Yeah.
He's a better musician than Sid Vicious, obviously.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, even the song, and I'll say this quickly because I sometimes argue with people about it. Even a song like "Another Brick in the Wall," which
Mhm,
everybody like attributes to Roger Waters being such a genius, most people forget the fact that like David Gilmour actually went to Studio 54 or something because I think that the producer told him, "You guys don't really have a lot of hits. Maybe you could do something a little contemporary. Somebody will play somewhere, maybe at a club, at a party. Like you don't have anything." And I guess he went to Studio 54 and he started listening. There was all this disco stuff. And he said, like, we're not really going to do this, but let me absorb some of these riffs and ideas. And let me try to then go to the studio and do something that at least is in the spirit of this. And if you listen to like Another Brick in the Wall, it is his weird take of a disco song.
it
Of
is.
course, he's David Gilmour. It's not going to really come out that way. It's interesting though. So he's the one that came up with the vibe of the song. Another thing people are always like, well, Roger Waters is the one that sings it. What most people don't know, they sing it in unison,
Mhm,
probably because Waters isn't such a good singer. So
yep.
in a lot of the song, you have another voice doubling him, which is David Gilmour singing together with him. The kids that came, I think he didn't even want them, and it was like his producer with Gilmour brought him in. It's not to take away like whatever he did with the song, but to kind of glaze and say that he did everything is just not true.
Yeah, no. I mean, Waters, I mean, he had like um concepts for albums. And The Wall is an example of that. And he would kind of push through some of the lyrics and the messaging or whatever. But yeah, the actual production and the music, it's all Gilmour. And we were talking about him going to Studio 54. So if you've ever get on YouTube and look up Wax Audio, it's a guy out of Australia that he's a brilliant mashup artist. But he has The Wall and the Bee Gees Staying Alive, and boy, do those match.
I believe that. I totally believe it. In any case, zooming out, Dark Side of the Moon, great album. Don't have any issue. Number 54, James Brown. Again, we could argue which one, but at least this is one of those live ones. Sex Machine,
Yeah, Papa's got a brand
funky
new
drummer.
bag.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
Yeah.
This is
This is one that deserves to be, in the top, at least in the top 100 and probably top 50.
How was it released in 1991? I don't really know, but it's another one of those compilations.
Yeah, compilation.
Whatever. I mean, I personally prefer to go through the albums as they were released when they were released.
Yeah.
But James Brown in general is awesome and deserves to be on the list. I think we've established that.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland, another case we've established, deserves to be on the list. Deserves to be in good spots on the list. Voodoo Child, obviously great. I even like Crosstown Traffic. All Along the Watchtower, his version.
Yeah.
He absolutely made that song his own. I mean, with all due respect to Bob Dylan, I never listened to the Bob Dylan version. I only listened to the Jimi Hendrix version.
I think Dylan actually said that Hendrix's version was much better than his. And
that's truth.
Again, he's not gonna lie about it.
No, I think that we all know that that's the truth.
Yeah.
David Bowie, Station to Station. It's golden years. I'm trying to think. Again, would I put this? Is this my favorite out of his stuff? I don't know. I mean, golden years is like is fine. But
yeah,
I don't think this is his best album. Again, David Bowie is brilliant, and I like him, and he deserves to be on the list in good spots. I just don't know if this is the album I would choose and where I would put it.
Right.
But I do like him. Chuck Berry, The Great 28. Again, this is another one of 1982. It's like a compilation or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But regardless of the stupid compilation thing that I don't agree with, I think it should be the real albums. Chuck Berry, brilliant. I mean,
yes,
you wouldn't have rock and roll as you know it without Chuck Berry. And I think that a lot of times, you and I know, but I think in history, sometimes he gets overlooked for how important and influential he is. He deserves to be on a list. He deserves to be on a good place, and genuinely brilliant. So
yeah, I mean, I think everybody says Elvis is the king of rock and roll, and I would beg to differ. I think Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Jerry Lee Lewis are really kind of the foundations of what rock is. Kind of high energy and that good rolling beat and all that. That's all them. Elvis is, again, I mean, he's very significant, but I don't think he was especially innovative in the way that those.
I still like him. I still like Elvis. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like him. I think he had a fantastic voice and a great kind of thing that he did. But yeah, I mean, when you talk about real pioneers, Chuck Berry is like the real deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we have number 50. Let's see what it says. That's our. I don't know why it's not even showing us. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Oh wait.
What the
50.
Hell?
Jay-Z, The Blueprint.
Oh my God.
This is so embarrassing. Just get him off the list. It's not. Come on.
Stop it. Just stop it.
This is just embarrassing. Yeah. Then I never put him. We just talked about like Chuck Berry. How do we get to Jay-Z? This just.
Yeah. Again, and ahead of Chuck Berry. No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see if we can find a good one to end on.
Okay. Let's see. 49. Outcast, Aquemini. Nope. Again, no. 48. Bob Marley and the Wailers, Exodus. I do like Bob Marley.
I do, but this is again, he is way overglazed, and this is way too high for Bob Marley.
I'll give you that. I think that, I do like him, and I would even give him maybe a better spot than you would on the list. There's some people that we've pushed to the end of the list, and I think that I like him more than that. I think that when it comes to reggae, he's really fantastic, and I really enjoy his music and his vibe and everything. But considering the type of names we just went through, I just don't think that his place is here,
No.
even though I don't dislike him.
Yeah. Okay.
47, Ramones. I like the Ramones, and I think that they are influential. What place I put them on the list, again, there's a lot of conversation of where to put them, but I don't think that they're not I think that they are worthy of being on a list. I just don't know if I would put them specifically here, but I do like them.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I love the Ramones, but I'm not sure that I'd put them above Dark Side of the Moon.
Right,
Um,
exactly. And some of these other, legends and whatever, there's a place for Ramones on the top list. I just don't know that I would put them here, but it's not one that I'm looking at and I'm thinking, like, it's not like Liz Phair or like Jay-Z's Blueprint or whatever, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, and I think, the Ramones, like a lot of the punk of the '70s was a reaction to the overproduced,
Right.
absolutely, in self-indulgence of a lot of rock. I mean, you had, "Oh, we're doing stadium stuff and 15-minute songs and all that stuff," and they're like, "Nope, that's not that's not happening. We're gonna have, like, 30 songs on here, it's gonna be an hour long, because we're just playing." A lot of time, if you actually listen to the Ramones, they're playing, like, bubblegum pop songs. They're just doing it really fast and doing different lyrics, but the actual chords and all that stuff, I mean, it's very pop.
Yeah, yeah, but I like it.
Oh, I love the Ramones.
So, you know, it's simple, but they do whatever they do and they do it well, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
and
I get
again, I mean, it's a such a contrast to what's going on in the mid '70s.
we're on a high note here if you want to end
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I think we can end with the Ramones.
Okay,
That's
I
a
think that's a good one.
yeah.
And I put a raid here, and hopefully this raid thing will work. I don't know what I've done. Hopefully it works. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. It's more difficult for me to figure out who was here and why, but I do appreciate you all, and I do see your names throughout. I look at the chat, so I want to thank everybody that joined us. I want to thank Emperor Goodwin, who kind of spontaneously joined me for a random strange stream in the middle of the night, one that was supposed to be like almost private, and boy, did this all turn out strange. But you know what? It was kind of fun. Admit it that this was more fun than you thought that it would be.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, come on. Now no, we did have to suffer some pain, to get to our joy, but it all worked out in the end.
It all worked out, and we're leaving you with the Ramones, so that's like a positive thing. At some point, I'm gonna do a secret stream where I finish the last 46 that we haven't talked about here, and that'll be an interesting stream. Maybe I'll do it. Based on your comments here, and feel free to leave comments in the video itself. Let me know if you want the future one, if you want to see like the other 46 at some point, or if I should just do that the top secret private stream where most people can't see it. I'm open to listening to whatever you have to say. So
Yeah, make sure you bring your secret decoder rings, kids. You wanna make sure that
exactly.
you can find it.
And yeah, I guess that's it. We're gonna be on our way. Thank you, good one. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Ramon Spider Man, really like the way they did that song. It sounds great.
Yeah.
And now I guess we'll be on our way.
I wanna be
Bye.
sedated.
Sedated. You're
Yeah, I wanna
sedated.
be sedated.
Ba ba ba
Bam,
ba
bam,
ba
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 bam,
ba
bam,
ba
bam,
ba.
bam. I
I
wanna
wanna
be
be sedated.
sedated.
Even though it's not on this album, but yeah, that's a
No,
good
no.
song. All right, good night.
Yep, it's good seeing you, man.